It was as though this plan had been with him all his life, pondered through the seasons. Now, in his 15th year, crystallized with the pain of puberty.
So, why'd you move here?
My mom had to get a restraining order against my stepdad. He has emotional problems.
Oh, I have those too. What kind of emotional problems does your dad have? I met a new friend.
Real or imaginary?
Wake up, Donnie.
Imaginary.
I'm gonna tell you a little story today about a young man whose life was completely destroyed by these instruments of fear.
I've been seeing stuff.
Donnie is experiencing what is commonly called a daylight hallucination.
I have to obey him. He saved my life.
Have you ever seen a portal?
Has he ever told you about his friend Frank, the giant bunny rabbit?
The what?
Like every living thing follows along a set path. And if you could see your path or channel, then you could see into the future, right?
I'm not going to be able to continue this conversation.
Don't worry. You got away with it.
What is going to happen?
I only have a few days left before they catch me. When's this gonna stop?
You should already know that.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to Barrel Age Flicks.
How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good, Stu. How you doing?
Doing good.
It's been a long time since we've done a episode together.
That's been too long.
I mean, the beginning of the year. I mean,
Yeah.
it's already like it's April 1st tomorrow.
Damn.
Yeah, it's April Fool's Day.
All right.
So technically, me and Stu, I think we talked about last time we were going to be doing an episode where one person loves a movie and one person hates the movie.
Yes.
So I am doing the movie that Stu likes, but I do not like. So kind of like a BAF love and hate situation here. So this is going to be interesting because we're going to be flipping around the next episode, but I'm still fucking trying to figure out what to do. Yeah, it's kind of hard because me and Stu have a lot of common movies.
taste.
Yeah, similar tastes on movies. But please, before you watching this episode right here, please make sure to subscribe to our channel and also press the notification settings, please, because we do a lot to make this show and we have a good time doing it. A lot of reviews and everything else. You have to check out our library. But
It helps a lot. It really does.
Yes. So we're going to be doing the movie
Donnie Darko.
Yes, which I believe there's two versions of it. I watched the director's cuts. Stu, which one did you watch?
I've seen them both numerous times.
Yes. So you and like I said, this is a love-hate thing. I've seen this movie probably a total of 3 times in my life. First time I saw it, I was like, didn't understand it. I was like, what the fuck is this shit? Second time I bought like a collector's edition from Arrow Blu-ray. I was like, oh, this is a great edition. I'm gonna go ahead and buy this out and check this movie out. Watched it, and I was like, sold to eBay. I seriously got rid of it. I was like, it was a nice like with a flip disc and everything else. Had a book. It was a nice big collector's edition. But I went ahead and got rid of it. So then when Stu said he wanted to do this for the movie that I hate, I was like, fuck. So I went ahead and got it to watch again. So it's gonna be interesting because there's questions I have about this movie, and I'm sure there's a lot of things that you want to bring up about this movie. But before we're gonna go to the drink, so we're flipping it around also here where it's his movie, but I'm doing the drink. So he will be doing the drink from my movie.
Yes.
So the drink that we were doing is a cocktail that I actually found online. It's called Donnie Dark and Stormy. It is, it looks very interesting here. So the Donnie Dark and Stormy recipe, it's 2 ounces of Gosling's Black Seal rum, and it's a ½ ounce of lime juice freshly squeezed and ginger beer to top it off. So in basically a lowball glass, and add some ice, to give it some chill. But it's not really dark. It's kind of like a brown color.
Yeah.
But those are the ingredients. Maybe I should have put some black food coloring in there to make it black, but
No.
I don't know.
Maybe if you did the black food coloring, you kind of did it like spinning it in.
Yeah.
So like at the end of the movie where you had the spiral happening.
Yes.
Coming down.
Yeah.
That would been kind of fucking.
By the way, that kind of remind me, those little things that come out of their chest remind me of the Abyss.
Yeah.
You remember the Abyss?
That absolutely does.
Even Sammy was watching this. Why do they have little Abyss things on their chest? It's just like so. But like I said, we'll talk about it. So let's go ahead and try this drink out.
Prost.
Salute. Thumbs up.
Ain't bad. It ain't good. It's not bad.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's there.
Yeah.
It's got ginger beer, of course. More of a ginger beer taste. I don't even taste the rum.
Maybe you should have done the 151.
I could
just to give it a little bit of a bite to it.
Well, technically, on our break, I can make another one and put the 151 rum. We can try it out.
Yeah, we'll check that out.
Yeah, I might just do that on
So
our
I think
break.
that I think a little bit more of a sharpness to it.
It's 2 ounces of
I
it's 2
believe you.
ounces. It so, stir it a little bit.
Yeah,
but that is hold on. It's a familiar taste to it, but it.
like I feel a little bit of the lime in there.
Yeah,
just a little bit.
A little bit on the back end.
But it's like a watered down ginger beer.
I wonder if I do it with. I mean, well, no, that would be weird if it was neat because I don't have the beer cold. It was
No. We definitely want it chilled.
Put some ice, yeah. It does. Like I said, it's not bad, but it's not great.
No.
But shit, you want to go first?
I'm gonna go ahead and give it a half thumb. I like ginger beer. This is like a watered down ginger beer, and that was a very loud notification from Ron's brand new computer.
God damn it, I forgot to mute my computer.
Oh, so no, that means Ron, you
That's
can take a
just
spin
spin of the
on
wheel.
the punishment wheel.
Shit, if that thing goes off again, I'm gonna be
loving it.
Slaughtered. Please do grab something yummy or something like that.
Nope.
Please. Oh, it's a self-destruct.
All right, this will be different.
All right, gotta get that
No, we got it
self-destruct.
right there. We got it right. Oh, there you go.
Wow, the Lord taste to go with the ginger beer. I'm really curious how that's going to
be
turn out.
something.
Oh, be a nice little chaser. Let's see how it goes. God damn it, we're already in already at the.
But at least I get
shot.
to join you.
Yeah, so it's a punishment for both of us, but this really isn't a punishment anymore. This is kind of pretty much used to this.
All right.
Salute. Interesting. All right.
I swear to God, this shit is like getting better with age.
It doesn't hurt me anymore. Like I have no problem with it.
I'm getting better notes out of it the more we drink it.
We need more bottles. I think we only got one more bottle left. We're almost out. Ow! I just busted my knee. All right. Anyways, so you give it a.
I'll give it like a half.
A half a thumb.
Yeah.
I'll actually give it a little higher. I'll give it a 3/4 of a thumb.
Okay.
Like I said, it's not bad. This is actually pretty refreshing. It's ice cold. It's the ginger beer taste. I mean, you can't go wrong with ginger beer. You know, just like birch beer. I like birch beer too. Root beer, but ginger beer is actually really good, and it's really crazy that I don't taste any of the bite from the rum at all. Like I don't see this being like an alcoholic. Like it does not taste like there's alcohol in here.
No.
So, which is weird because there's 2 ounces of rum in here. So I'm really curious what the 151 rum is. I think we're going to go ahead and try like a smidget of that just to see how it tastes. But
I think it'll be. I think you'll be able to taste it a little bit more.
Yeah,
but only a little bit, and then I think it's going to make this drink dangerous as hell.
Yeah. So you got a half, I got a third. It's not bad. Like I said, I recommend if you want something cold and refreshing and you like ginger beer, there you go. It's a ginger beer that will give you fucked up if you drink multiple and you don't even realize it's got alcohol in it. So, so that is the drink that we got today. So now we're going to go into the details of the movie. So Donnie Darko was released on October 26, 2001. And I do remember this movie when it came out that there was controversy about the engine because it was around September 11th. Do you remember that?
I don't remember the controversy.
They said that there was something about with the jet engine falling into the house with the plane. just like September 11th. I just remember when it came out that I didn't know if you knew about that.
No.
Other films.
That's them stretching. I think that's them really stretching.
Well, they did the same thing.
About.
They did the same thing with any plane crash movie or even the fucking Spider-Man movie where they had the fucking web between the two towers and stuff like that. But Donnie Darko was directed by Richard Kelly. He's actually only got 3 movies to his name. He did Southland Tales.
No, he got 4. 3 as director. 4.
Yeah. 3 as a director. But he did Southland Tales, which was The
Rock and
not bad.
Yeah.
It's a little out there, but it's in my opinion better than this. The Box from 2009, and of
Cameron
course,
Diaz.
and Donnie Darko. He hasn't directed a feature film since The Box, but has expressed interest in returning to filmmaking, including a potential Donnie Darko follow-up.
Yes.
So I guess he's wanting to make a sequel. I'm really curious how it would turn out.
Follow-up or
because he dies.
Reimagining or what? So.
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing I got to know is, did he really die, or if we'll talk about it during the movie. So let's see the other details we have here. The budget around this movie was $4.5 million. The box office was $7.5 million worldwide original run. It was a financial disappointment in theaters, but became a cult classic on DVD and video.
Yes.
The critical score on Rotten Tomatoes for this was at 87%, which is actually pretty good. The audience score, which was shocking to me, is at 80%. So this is actually a well-loved film. I don't understand it. The cast in this movie, there's a huge cast and a lot of people that you've seen start their careers in this, like Seth Rogen. We got Jake Gyllenhaal as Donnie Darko. We got Jenna Malone as Gretchen Ross. We got Maggie Gyllenhaal. We got Patrick Swayze, which is close to, I think there was maybe 7 or 8 roles after that before he passed away. So he was up there because this came out in
2001.
2001. When did he pass away? I think in 2006, 2007. I remember.
God, has it been that long?
It was pancreatic cancer, I believe. We got
2009.
Was it 2009? Yeah, so it was only about 9 years after. Yeah. So I remember he was in a lot of direct-to-video movies and stuff like that. He didn't really go anywhere in the 2000s. Drew Barrymore, I forgot that she was in this. Mary McDonnell. Holmes Osborne, Noah Weil, Beth Grant, I believe, Holmes Osborne is Eddie Darko, Mary McDowell is Rose Darko. Mm-hmm. Then you got Beth Grant as Kitty Farmer, James Duvall as Frank the Rabbit, which I enjoyed him for the movie that I'm not a fan of, which is interesting. Catherine Ross as Dr. Lee Thurman, and Seth Rogen as Ricky Danforth. It's one of his first film roles. Did I miss one right here? Because the teacher, I remember him from, I think, ER.
Yeah, Noah Weil.
Was that Noah Weil?
Yes.
Okay.
And what was that? What was that, Ron?
Fuck you, Casey. God damn it, I forgot to mute my phone, too. Casey just texted me. Casey from the deluxe edition, motherfucker. I'm going to fucking text him. You just got me a punishment shot, you fucker.
Good job, Casey.
Yeah. Fuck.
Spin the wheel again. Unprepared.
This is supposed to be a work night, too. I'm not supposed to be drinking that much. Okay, let's see what we got here. Hopefully another barrel punishment. All right.
I don't even know where the barrel's living right now.
It's right under my feet.
All
right, let's see what I pulled up. I pulled up
a 99 something. I'm guessing by the looks of it.
I don't know. It looks like pineapple or something. As soon as I get this thing set up. All right, let's see. We got... No, it's not 99. Huh. It's New Amsterdam pineapple. I don't know what that is. Is that vodka? New Amsterdam?
It's either vodka or gin.
I don't think it's a pineapple gin. Is there a pineapple gin?
See my...
Either way, it's my punishment, so I have to stick with it. So
I'm gonna go with vodka.
All right, I'll take it after I finish these things. So now the last part of my details are kind of our tradition that we've also done all of our details. We always do the movies that came out around the same time. Some interesting ones. We had Training Day. Love that movie. We got Iron Monkey. We have Corky Romano. That movie was a piece of shit. That was a fucking movie. Was so bad. Riding in Cars with Boys. Donnie Darko. K-Pax is actually not bad.
Yeah,
you remember K-Pax with Kevin Spacey?
Yeah.
Actually, 13 Ghosts. Bones from Snoop Dogg. You remember that one?
Yes.
Yeah, so those are releases of 2001 in October. And it was funny to be an October release because this takes place during Halloween, actually. Mm-hmm. And the fact is that a lot of Halloween movies aren't always released in Halloween. They're always released in September, sometimes even December and November.
Okay. So a few things about this. He wrote it in 28 days, which is the length of time that the movie.
He legit.
He wrote
it in 28
yes.
days.
It was filmed in the same amount of time. All right.
It only took 28 days to film?
Yes.
Was that on purpose?
That's just what they had planned.
Okay.
They had Drew Barrymore was only available for a week, and she was one of the her production company.
Right.
Was the production company behind this? Yeah. She only had a week to film.
Yeah.
Everything was kind of like in a rush. Like it's a small independent film, so they only took a few weeks.
So 28 days written, and then 28 days filmed.
Yes.
Okay.
And it was written around when he wrote it. It was around October, hence why all the Halloween elements. It's like that because he was in that mindset.
So he wrote this a year beforehand.
A few years. I think 97 is when he wrote it. Floated around for a little while, and then filmed in 2000.
Interesting. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, we're gonna go ahead and take our break, but before we take our break, I got to take my punishment.
Yes.
So thank you, Casey. You're a fucker. I'm going to get you about this. This fucking sucks. I'm already drinking a lot of alcohol tonight, and I wasn't expected to do that. So here we go.
You've already committed to another one.
I guess it's pineapple vodka.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's pineapple. Yeah. I mean, it's not bad. It's actually not too sweet, which is actually
that's surprising. I would have thought it'd been very artificial.
It is artificial, but it doesn't have that ultra sweet that I've had on other drinks like cranberry or something like that. Mm-hmm. Pineapple is a sweet fruit, but I think it's a little bit more mellow than other fruits, in my opinion. It all depends on how much sugar you put in it. But no, that wasn't too bad. It was an easy drink. So we're going to go ahead and take our break, and we'll be right back, and we'll talk about this movie, Donnie Darko.
And see how many more times Ron can get fucked up.
I don't want that happening, but we'll see what happens. It could very well happen. So, all right, guys, we'll be right back. Hey, having a hard time trying to stay up, trying to record these podcasts late at night?
Or are you up late, working, driving trucks, working in the shop, trying to provide for that damn family of yours?
You need coffee.
Well, let us tell you about this one company we got right here. It's called Coffee Bros. Now, they got a very select blend of different roasts: light roast, medium, dark, espresso. Now, each one of these has its own flavor profile.
These two brothers from New York made this amazing company with an amazing coffee that you could order online.
So you just had the espresso roast?
Yes.
And did that thing wake you up?
I couldn't go back to sleep. Oh, man. It was smooth.
Nice.
It had that nice chocolate taste to it. You can just taste the chocolate.
Mm-hmm. And it doesn't give you that bite like other coffees do.
Or bitter.
No, definitely not bitter at all. This is smooth, sweet, aromatic. This coffee here will absolutely wake you up when you need it to.
The coffee here is dedicated to freshness, quality, and consistency. Use the code BAF10 to get 10% off your entire order. The link for the website is in our show description. And I'm telling you guys, it's worth it. This coffee keeps you awake, especially for the late podcasting that we do.
Yeah, it's very much needed.
Try out Coffee Bros. Coffee Bros! All right, guys, we are back, and we have more alcohol.
Yes.
So we went with 151 Black Seal rum.
Let's see if we can test it this time.
See what the difference, see if it has a kick or anything like that. So here we go. Oh, I can taste the alcohol in that one.
A little bit stronger, yeah. A little bit stronger.
Yeah.
But not like bad strong.
No, it doesn't kick you in the teeth.
No.
It's not bad.
It's like, okay, now we know this has some alcohol in it.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and give a review because I'm actually going to put it in the card, hardcore version.
Yeah, that'll work.
So I'll put hardcore version. So hold on, let me take another sip just to get an idea. Goddamn, having a beard.
The flavor saver.
Yeah. Food catcher. Ooh, I actually like this one better.
Same here.
Because it's got that bite to it.
Just a
that
little
the other
bit,
one didn't.
Just a little bit of a bite.
Because but the other one, you were just drinking ginger beer.
Yeah.
You had that ginger beer taste. This one has a little bit of that rum. You can
a little
taste,
bit of a warmth.
Yes.
Just a little tiny bit. Just like, ooh, okay.
I think I'm going to go first on this one. I like this one better. It's dangerous. I'd say I give it a 1 1/4. I'll give it a 1.25.
Very nice.
I think that this is refreshing still. I think that multiple one of these will fuck you up. This is not bad. Now, the original, like I said, I gave it a 3/4. So you gave it a half, I believe. But this is a thumb and a quarter. This is a lot better. I think this has more of a bite to it, a little bit of warmth, like you said. It's got that rum taste to it, but so refreshing, so nice. I'm already feeling good right now. Yeah. So I like it.
I'm gonna go also up a half a point, and I'll go to a nice round 1.
There you go.
It definitely made it better. It doesn't taste watered down anymore the way the previous one did.
Yeah.
Because of not having the bite, the warmth makes a nice mix to it.
Yeah.
And I think it's working well. I really do. I think if you're going to make this drink, you want the 151, just to let you know you're having a drink and not just watered down ginger beer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which ginger beer is good, but if you had to pick ginger beer, birch beer, and root beer, which one would you be your pick?
Root beer.
Okay. No.
Yeah, root beer. Classic.
No, of course.
Basic bitch shit.
Yeah, no. Well, birch beer is good.
It is.
Birch beer is good.
All three are nice.
Yeah.
But
root beer is what we all grew up with. A&W and also root beer floats.
And Barks and stuff like that. You know.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So
Barks got bite.
Yeah. All right, so let's talk about Donnie Darko.
The Donnie Darko.
Before we get into, well, I guess you want to ask the question when we first saw this, but this is your show, so I'm going to lead it off to you.
All right. When did you first see this?
Okay. I think I already said at the beginning. I'm trying to remember what year. It was mid 2000s. I remember it was talked about. I remember word of mouth about this movie saying, "Oh yeah, check out Donnie Darko. It's really cool. Check it out." And I remember watched it, and then I didn't watch it again. I remember there was an obsession with Frank. Everybody was like, "Oh, you got to check out Frank the Bunny." Frank the Bunny was like the big. Everybody focused on that character for some reason, and then you see the bunny with that fucking demon bunny. Which, by the way, that mask is familiar. Is it in from anything, or is that okay? Because it looks.
No, they even showed that Frank, the real Frank, at the end when they're doing like the flashes of everybody that was interacted with.
Yeah,
they showed Frank alive. And they panned over his workstation. He had created that mask.
Okay,
and everything. He.
I remember that. Yes. I remember it was showing like the little flashback where it's like the everything else because it was a Halloween costume.
Yes, it wasn't a flashback. It was at that time, current time.
See, that's what I can't understand about the flash because I can't figure out if this movie's about time travel, if it's about a fucking dream. That's what confused the hell out of me. But at the end, when I watched this. It's like everybody's waking up from a dream. Anyway, I'm sorry. I'm going too ahead of the game.
No. I'm fine with jumping around this subject. It's one of the reasons I truly enjoy this film is because it's so ambiguous. There's so many questions and you can interpret it different ways.
Right.
And as long as you can lock in on one interpretation, you should be able to walk away like, okay. But then when you start really thinking about the other potential interpretations and then how they can all build upon each other and make this pyramid of what the fuck is going on here and how did he manage to tie all of this together, it's really all.
Well, we'll definitely talk about it. Like I said, first time I watched it, mid 2000s. So when did you first watch this?
I feel
did you
like
see it in the theater?
I really, really feel like I might have. I remember I was serving at the time. It was right after 9/11, so shit had hit the fan, but we hadn't yet deployed.
Yeah.
So I was still stateside. I feel like I saw this in theater just because I saw a lot of shit. A lot of fucking films because in fucking goddamn backwoods Georgia where I was stationed, there wasn't fucking shit else really to fucking do except for drink, fucking watch movies. That was your free time. And that's what we did. So I feel like I'm 90% sure I saw this in theater. If not, I saw like a rip of it. Somebody just made a bootleg and I fucking watched it, but it was right around that then because I definitely before I went to the Sandbox because I had a copy with me when I went to the Sandbox.
Yeah, and like I said, I talked about how I bought a collector's edition off Arrow Video which is a Blu-ray company that actually makes really good, like, special editions, like almost like a Criterion collection of Blu-rays, but they do a lot of special features and stuff like that. Watch it once and I got rid of it. I mean, that's how much I did not care for this movie. So the fact is, I really want you to show me how to like this movie, because
Okay.
I'm okay.
We'll start with, what is your complaint about this movie?
It's boring. Okay. See, the thing is, this movie, all right, I don't think I talked about this on air, but I talked about how I feel how this is a very David Lynch style movie. The way that it's filmed, especially with the, especially that thing where it shows like the close up of the eye and then you see all that text and everything else, and the noise, because David Lynch has a thing with noise. Okay. So it kind of reminds me of David Lynch, but.
So all the eye close ups, most of them that you saw in the director's cut weren't there in the original.
So that's in the director's cut. Okay.
Most of those are in the director's cut.
And by the way, just to let you guys all know, I saw the director's cut. I did not see the theatrical cut, so I have no idea what the difference is. I should have watched the theatrical cut, but I didn't think about it doing it.
So just in the nutshell, what the differences are between the director's cut and the original. More scenes with his therapist, more scenes with his sister, his older sister, Maggie Gyllenhaal.
Yeah. Which, by the way, she was not a bad-looking woman back then. I don't know what it is.
More of the eye shots and the water. Yeah. And then the breaking water.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. More of that inserted. And he changed around some of the songs, not all the songs, but some of the songs for ones that he felt were better to put you in more of a creepier feel in the director's cut than what they were in the original.
The soundtrack to this movie was actually not bad.
Everybody remembers it for the final song.
Not even the final song. They had that whole 80s song in the beginning.
In Excess did that one. That was something he put in the director's cut. That wasn't there.
That wasn't in the theatrical. So what was the original?
Just some other like Frankie, like something in the Rabbits band, but it was fine. But it wasn't something that I was super recognizable.
Well, either way, that's there's things about, like I said, I remember saying in the beginning, there's some things I don't mind about this movie. Frank, I don't mind Frank. I think Frank is an interesting character. It's very different because it's like an evil side of Donnie Darko. Yep. Basically telling him what to do and stuff like that. But the music, the Mad World or
another
something
thing about sorry, I just have to get this out.
No, go ahead. I think we're gonna be jumping all over the place.
Something about the director's cut in the original. All the text you see, talking about what was in the book, none of that shit was in the original. None of that shit was in the original. That was all put in.
Ooh, wow.
In the director's cut. All of it.
So all those little mid-chapter scenes in the movie, those like
100% were put in the director's cut as a way to try to explain what's going on.
Even the dates?
Yes.
The calendar dates? Like
no, like, that stuff right there. But no, in the book. Like,
okay.
All the stuff they would show from the book explaining what's going on.
Yeah.
And shit like that. And talking about, the world will end in a black hole. All that shit. Everything that came from the what was it? The History of Time Travel, whatever it was fucking called. The book that Grandma Death wrote.
The doctor came in, which is actually a scene that you want to talk about sometime down in the episode.
But all that came in the director's cut. And he put all this shit in there as a way to, his own words, give one potential explanation to what the fuck's going on.
Okay.
Because his own admittance is he doesn't know for sure what the answers all are of what's going on.
Okay, see, I have so many fucking theories. I have so many theories in this movie because the movie deals with time travel. It deals with death, of course with Donnie Darko, because the whole beginning about the whole engine falling through the house, but then at the end it falls through it. So it's like time travel again, or is it a dream? Because then you see all this little like side camera going motion where you're seeing all these characters. You're seeing the fucking pedophile Patrick Swayze like sweating in bed like, oh god, I did that, and everything else. And then you see all these people just thinking or crying. It's like they woke up from a dream.
Everybody was touched by what happened,
which I think they woke up from a dream. So I have a feeling that it is a dream.
Another one is it was all just Donnie going fucking psycho, just having his psychosis come out.
But the thing is that
another one is he's a Christ figure.
Okay, see,
and I have
okay,
all
when
these
you
stuff
say
to
when you
back
say he's a
everything
Christ
up.
figure because
I
he
have it
sacrifices his
all-
life.
I have it all backed up, ready to go.
He sacrifices his life.
There's more to it.
So everybody else's lives are all different and everything else because it was all different. Because you remember the plane that went down had his sister and mom.
Yep.
So, and they were still alive. And then you also have the girlfriend that never met Donnie Darko. Oh, who was that? Oh, that was Donnie Darko. A jet fell on him. Like, okay, so her life.
Everything's different.
Okay, so explain here because to me, I think it's a fucking dream. That's what I feel like.
That is one theory. And him waking up.
How many
and being
fucking
like,
theories are there?
Oh my God. So you got the dream theory, the psychosis theory, the time travel tangent universe theory, the Christ analog theory. Then you have one that kind of rolls them all together and makes them all work together. So yeah.
Okay, so the time
so
travel.
Which one do you want the explanation to? And then I'll break it down that way.
Okay, first pick the one that I think it is. I think it's all
so the dream one. Quite simple. Donnie had a really, really fucked up dream. And then he woke up, recognized, oh shit, this was all a dream. And that sigh of relief, that pressure coming out is what caused him to laughing.
Okay.
Because how him realizing, oh my God, this was all in my head. This wasn't real. This was all a dream. Oh my God, everything's okay. And then that ironic ending of the fucking
jet falling through,
still following through, killing him. And he is dead. They did film a scene with a giant fucking rafter through his fucking chest, and then like, all right, they're like, yep, nope, this is too much. Yeah. So they're like, we ain't gonna show that. Right. It's basically implied he was in bed when an engine fell through him. Yes. It's implied he's dead. We don't need to show it.
Yeah,
all right. And then everybody else waking up, his dream was potentially powerful enough.
So it was almost like a web dream where his dream connected to all the other people's dreams.
Yes.
And then they woke up to the point where it's like
they didn't necessarily recognize the dream, but they recognized the super strong emotional aspect of the emotional wave have gone through.
Which, by the way, at the end, this is a quick question: Drew Barrymore and the teacher, were they together?
Yes,
they were together throughout the whole movie.
Yes.
Okay. Somehow I missed that because at the end I saw them in bed together. I was like, oh, they're sleeping together. I didn't.
Yeah, but it's never it's never directly talked about. It's never like a focus point of a side story. It's just two young, attractive teachers, working together.
Right.
Odds are they'd find their way to each other.
Yeah.
Probably, and that's what they did. It's just showing the reality of what's going on. They're still humans.
Okay.
All right. They still want to fuck. All right.
I see that, but the thing is that even the pedophile is like sitting in bed, waking up, and he's like
weird, emotional.
He's like,
the emotional.
He's like all worried and everything, and like he feels like regret or almost like like what the fuck am I? So is he a pedophile or is that just a dream of him being a pedophile?
If it's a dream, you don't know. None of this we know for sure.
See, that's
if it's just a dream.
See, okay. So the thing is, when he's laughing, I feel like the whole thing about time travel is that he actually time travels and fixes all this to the point where he feels like he needs to die to save everybody else's life. So he's becoming a sacrifice. So he's like, well, I might as well just fucking do it and just fucking die. And then he dies. That's how I see it.
So there is a group of fans who think his sacrifice didn't need to happen. That the second he returned back to that early October night when the engine was getting ready to fall down, and he woke up.
Yeah,
he could have got the fuck out of the house. The job was already done. The engine was pulled down. The job was done. All right, and he could have gotten down. That's what the object needed to happen. That engine needed to come down from. This is we're talking about. Time travel / split universe,
right?
But they refer to as a tangent universe throughout the film. In the little book, the little things they refer to as a tangent universe.
Is this all from Richard Kelly's mind, or is this actually?
Yeah, 100%. So he drew some inspirations, throughout his life, weird shit.
Okay. This
So
was based
reading
on
an
a
interview
book
with
really
him,
like that.
he had an idea of he read a story when he was younger of a piece of ice that fell off of a plane, landed on somebody's house, and crashed into the bedroom, and they weren't there, and or it would have killed them if they had been there.
You talking about the toilet ice?
So that is potentially what it was. Like MythBusters did that.
Where basically they released like the fucking blue
So but
ice.
he took that idea and he's like, I want to write a story about what happens if you were that person that lived, that wasn't there.
I give him credit. It is definitely out there.
Yes.
It's definitely some interesting writing, but it definitely makes you think like, maybe I'm going to watch this again.
Yes.
I need to figure things out, especially reading, because like I was trying to watch this and I watched this all at once. I was with my laptop because I was taking the detailed notes and everything else. I was like, okay, I remember this. I forgot about this. Wait a minute. This fucking text on the screen in the eye. What does that text say? Like I was trying to figure things out, and then I saw the whole time travel thing. I forgot about the time travel thing.
Yes.
Like I didn't know what that whole ordeal was because Donnie Darko was going to his teacher asking him about the whole time travel. I didn't know what the fuck that was about. I didn't know the movie was about. So is this movie a time travel movie, or is this movie about a fucking Christ figure, or is it about a dream? Okay.
We'll move to the next.
Okay.
The next logical or potential logical explanation, which is his psychosis.
And when you go through all these different ones, I want to know which one do you think it is?
Okay. Well, we'll save that for the end.
Okay, that's fine.
All right. So we'll go through his schizophrenia.
Yes.
What is believed to be schizophrenia,
which is the teacher.
Another reason Richard Kelly wrote about this is he thought it'd be really interesting to write about schizophrenia and how well that could work in a weird sci-fi fantasy type shit, because you won't ever know what's real and what's not. Yeah. Making Donnie an unreliable narrator, because this is all basically told roughly from Donnie's point of view.
Yes.
There's very little that you see outside of what he could realistically know what's going on.
Right.
And he's an unreliable narrator because everybody's the hero in their own story.
Yeah.
So he's been in treatment. He's had the sleepwalking going on for a while now. Keeps waking up further and further away. His parents are so used to it by now. They're not even like freaking the fuck out when he just stumbles back into the house after being gone all fucking night.
Right.
And they're just like, all right. So he's seeing a shrink. Shrink's trying to delve into what's going on. Got him a medicine, which you then find out, actually just placebo pills.
Right.
But
basically just water.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
the kid, no matter what, he had issues.
Maybe.
Well, I mean, the thing is, I still remember that scene at the beginning when his mother comes in there and she walks off and says, bitch. She says, my son just called me a bitch.
Yeah. Which, that's a fucking normal teenage angst.
That's what I was thinking, which means he doesn't really have issues.
So does he or doesn't he?
So why was he at a psychiatrist?
So she's taking him, or his parents taking him to a psychiatrist, try to figure out what the fuck's going on, try to figure out, because he does seem emotionally distant, closed off.
Yeah. I think he's smart.
He's doing the sleepwalking. There's something more going on with him than they would say a normal adolescence.
Right.
There's something else going on. They're trying to figure out what's going on. So they're just trying to be good parents. That's all they're trying to do. They're trying to be good parents. And they take him to shrink. And a lot of Donnie doesn't want to take the medicine. And they kind of imply that through when he's having his breaks when they're talking about him. And the eye and the text going over his eye, and then the serene water, because maybe it's implying, this is what Richard Kelly said, it's implying that it's him struggling against breaking out of what the chains are of the medicine and the psychology and everything like that, try to get to a sense of peace,
Right.
which is what the water represents. That's the waves. He wants to get his mind to that next level of serenity, that level of peace and acceptance.
Yeah.
And he feels that he's being blocked from doing that by the shrink, and by the medicine they're trying to force upon him. He doesn't want to deal with that, which is a common feel, or a lot of people that are going through stuff and they're trying medicine, they describe that the numb feeling that a lot of the anti-psych meds give, a very emotionally deadened level, which it's a challenging situation to be in, because you're like, all right, do I want to get better? I don't want to do, but if that means I'm feeling numb all the time, is it worth getting better?
Yeah.
What's worth it? Is the juice worth the squeeze?
Well, the thing is, when they do the hypnotics with Donnie Darko, especially it's when he's talking about Frank and everything else, he's talking almost like a child voice.
Yes.
Like he's almost like a child, because it feels like he has like a split personality.
So that's more of, and then this was actually Jake's Gyllenhaal's idea of to have that voice when he's talking about Frank and talking to Frank. Yes, because he wanted to go to more like a child when he's talking about his blankie, that comfort figure, that all soothing embrace.
Okay.
And so he wanted to have that childlike voice.
Yeah.
Which I thought worked really well when he was talking about, and so did the director. He's like, yeah, absolutely. That makes a hell of a lot of sense.
Well, I mean, when you're being hypnotized and everything else, you're sometimes going to be talking in like a voice, because I feel like his split personality, his part where he's talking to Frank is almost like he's talking to him as a child, because Frank is telling him what to do. Hey, do this and do that and everything else. He's talking in that very like mellow-tone voice, like that very deep voice, that very depressing sound, which I enjoyed. I enjoyed those parts. It's like, it was like a dead, I don't know how do you say it, like a dead personality. You know what I mean? Where there was no really like emotion to it. It was like, yeah, do this. Go ahead and burn the school. You don't know that. It's just the way that
also, Frank, you find out, is dead.
See,
Frank is dead, so that is a dead voice.
In the theater, when you see him with his eyes, so what was wrong with your eye and everything else, and his eye had the blood coming from it, but then you see the flashback at the end sequence, which I forgot that the girlfriend got run over. I completely forgot about that. And then you see him get shot by, who did he get shot by again? Was it
by Donnie?
By Donnie. Okay, yeah.
Donnie just lost his shit because this dude just ran over his girlfriend
and shot him right in the eye.
Yeah.
But that's something that happened in the future, but it shows in the past. That's why it was fucking with my head, trying to figure out what the fuck was going on. Did this already happen? And this.
All right. So that'll lead us next to the time travel / tangent universe.
To the point where he wanted to know what time travel was about.
Yes. So, and because of Frank, because Frank led him down that road. The stuff that Frank talked about led him to ask those questions.
Which I'll show you this again. I enjoyed Frank.
Yes.
I enjoyed his character. The bunny, it was like out of the world. Like, it was, first of all, you remember, it's kind of funny because we're talking about this. We were talking about The Brave Little Toaster, and we were talking about Watership Down.
Yes.
And they were actually, the Watership Down movie was actually in this movie. And I was just like, oh shit, that's Watership Down.
Yes.
So it was kind of funny that was retained, that was pertaining to this movie. So it was just interesting because we did that for our animated series, but a very graphic film, very gory for a kid's film.
Yes.
You know, bunnies killing each other basically. But it was very interesting to see that a part of Frank. You know, the whole bunny.
But then also
situation.
you see Donnie just showing his disconnect when they watched the film. When they talked about Watership Down, he's like, why should I give a fuck about these bunnies?
Yeah.
And Drew Barrymore was like,
right,
because they're us.
Yeah.
That's why you should fucking recognize what is going on.
Everybody kills each other.
They are us.
Yeah, no,
okay? This is why you need to feel. And Donnie isn't connecting that basic emotional empathy right there, which goes, again, potential more of psychosis.
Right.
So time travel / tangent universe. Okay. Which is what a lot of this was focused on, the director's cut. And that's...
Was the theatrical edition, did it have the whole time travel with the fucking abyss looking things?
Oh, it had all that shit.
Okay.
But it had no explanation for it. It had...
It was
all
weird.
So everything that was in Grandma Death's book that they showed on the screen explained what's going on, explained about the tangent universe, explained about the manipulated living and the manipulated dead, which Frank was one of.
Right.
And talking about the object, jet engine, talking about the avatar, which is Donnie, and how they must be in place to do shit or else both universes will collapse out of existence and everything like that. And implied that it's happened multiple times. And Grandma Death, that's why she's waiting and checking her mailbox all the fucking time, because she's the one who wrote the book. She had already experienced in that. Noah Wiles, scientist or science teacher character, had talked about how she used to be a nun. Then something happened to her, and overnight she just completely fucking flipped and wrote this fucking time travel shit and turned her personality completely, which means perhaps she also went through the same thing.
You're talking about
Donnie
the old
did.
lady?
Yes, the Grandma Death.
What was the fucking shit with her? With her checking out the mailbox?
That's what I'm trying to explain to you.
It doesn't make sense to me. Okay, go ahead.
So she wrote the book, the book that he's reading all the time, you know, the book that he gets.
Okay.
Right. She wrote the history of time travel, or whatever it's called. I forget the name of the book, but it's like something like that, which is suggested to Donnie by Noah Wiles' character, his teacher. Okay. Suggests to him, hey, check this shit out. She used to be a nun, but then something happened to her, and overnight she changed her personality completely, wrote this book with a lot of theories on time travel and everything like that. You should check this shit out. And those are what keep flashing on the screen, the little book excerpts that flash on the screen.
Right.
They tell you everything that's fucking going on.
Yeah.
They break it all down for you. And so it implies, the way I took it, is that she was a woman of faith. Then she went on her own little Donnie Darko fucking weird time travel tangent universe shit, came back through, survived, wrote down everything that she knew, but then while she was in that tangent universe, she learned what was going to happen eventually,
right?
Which is what would happen with Donnie. And so that's why
she whispered her in his ear and everything else,
in order to get him moving on a path. And she kept checking the mail because she knew one day she was going to receive a fucking letter from Donnie explaining, hey, I read this thing, I don't know what's going on. So she knows time-wise what's going on.
Is this an online theory?
No, this is just generalized stuff, what's going on. I mean, everything with her is implied with the director's cut. And then you build upon that information once you understand what's going on. You're like, okay, so she wrote the books, and take this little throwaway line, she used to be a nun and then changed overnight. Why would she have changed overnight and write this fucking time travel book? Something must have fucking happened to her. Okay, what the fuck happened to her? Oh, she must have gone on some weird, crazy shit. How would she know what's going on unless she went on this weird, crazy shit?
Okay.
All right, and then, okay, if she went on this weird, crazy shit, why is she looking out the mailbox? And then a letter eventually comes that tells her that everything that she went through was true. So it's reaffirming her potential worry that she just imagined it all, but it's reaffirming, no, she didn't imagine it all. It's for real because this letter came, which means she was right.
That's a mind fuck.
Exactly.
Okay, so you got the time, you got the Christ theory.
I haven't got the Christ theory yet.
Okay, well, I'm curious about that one. Then you got the dream.
We talked about the dream. We talked about the psychosis, which is
the psychosis and everything else. Okay, so what is the Christ theory? Because now that this is
all right.
So far, I'm gonna. So I think at the end of this episode, me and you are gonna have to pick which one we think it truly is. Because the whole fucking old woman now is kind of like boggling my mind.
The
Christ theory.
To the Christ theory. So to the time travel tangent universe theory. What kicked off this whole tangent universe was something from another universe ripping a hole and coming into our universe.
Okay.
And that thereby created an entirely other timeline.
Okay.
So think about the Back to the Future. And he even references Back to the Future, what a fan he is.
Yeah.
That's a way of saying, all right, this is the understanding time travel we need to understand. Something changed here, which created a different timeline.
Right.
All right. You still have the main timeline. The main timeline is one where the jet falls through, kills Donnie. Or the engine falls through, kills Donnie. All right. Boom. This one, engine falls through, but it's an engine that falls through from a different universe, and Donnie lives. And he lives because Frank told him to get the fuck out of the house. All right, told him to come down, meet him, keep on coming. All right, meet him at the golf course type shit. All right, comes through.
Where he sees the pedophile.
So, but in the morning when he wakes up, yes.
Yeah.
So create this tangent timeline right here. All right, so the main timeline, tangent timeline. Everything that we watch from the moment that he wakes up the very first time, wakes up and comes into his house, that's entering into the tangent universe.
Yeah.
Until the very, very end where he's back, it comes crashing into him. That's back to the main universe. Okay.
Right.
So you have all this shit going on. It's created by this engine ripped from another universe, which they even talk about. The FAA wants everybody to keep their fucking mouth shut because they can't understand where that engine came from, because the serial number on that engine is on a plane that still has that fucking engine. That's why they don't. That's why they can't understand where that is. So everybody's like, keep your fucking mouth shut. We'll pay for everything. Just shut the fuck up because we don't know what's going on.
Okay, so is this the first explanation of the multiverse? Because there's different universes, basically?
It's not the first one, but it's using that idea.
Yeah, because the multiverse has been kind of a thing of
something split house. Yes.
Yeah, different universes.
But the problem with the tangent universe in this timeline and this world, the tangent universe cannot exist at the same time as the real universe. Eventually, if something doesn't happen to correct it, then the main universe will die. All universes will die in a black hole. Okay. So something has to happen to correct the error, to correct the original problem. Sort of like the Loki TV show timeline. We're talking about the branching timelines. We need to branch, cut off these other branches.
I saw the last episode basically where he's kind of like almost like the god of the.
So you need to prune these other branches to keep the main timeline alive.
Yeah.
Otherwise, everything collapses. So it's that type of theory right there, and that's what Donnie does at the end. He realizes he's created everything to happen. By him going through all of these people that he interacted with after he should have been dead, or after the original accident, eventually led him to this point of running into this girl he falls in love with. She dies. He loses fucking shit. He kills the guy who killed her, Frank, which thereby creates a spirit who now has more power, what they're known as the manipulated dead. The manipulated dead now has more power because they're not controlled and confined by the same limitations the living people are. They can travel around and do shit. So Frank goes back in time. The spirit of Frank goes back in time in order to create Donnie in the beginning, to give him the power at the end to recognize he is the one who's powerful, to rip this fucking engine off and throw it from his timeline back to the original timeline.
So Frank, being kind of like the person that kills somebody, becomes like the evil, and then
he's not evil. He's doing it to save all life. Yes, exactly. It seems like he's doing evil shit on any individual thing, but it's in order to serve the greater good, which is to preserve life.
But it feels like he's almost like a conscience to Donnie Darko.
He's leading him. He's like a Jiminy Cricket. All right, he's kind of leading him.
So almost like a fucking demon, Jiminy Cricket, basically.
Not even demon, more of a ghost. More of a ghost.
He is a ghost.
With knowledge that he shouldn't have.
That's the thing I couldn't figure out, because if he's, I can understand the whole ghost effect, because the whole thing with his eye being bloody when he took his mask off. Why are you always wearing that fucking mask or like that? I remember that he's saying in the theater. And then he takes the mask off and his eyes all bloody. And then in the future of the movie, you see
what caused
shot by Donnie Darko.
Because it's time his travel. Spirit that's gone back in time to do all this, to lead up to, thereby lead Donnie to what he needs to do and go through to correct the original incursion.
This is fucking mind fucking.
Yes, it is. It is. Okay.
Trying to figure this out, like which one is really the true theory here. Okay, so what's the Christ theory? All right, before we go into the Christ theory, let's go ahead and take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Hey there, it's the Barrel Age Chicks. I'm Sammy.
I'm Snow.
I'm Crystal, often called Mouse, and I'm here too.
Yay! And then we also have Yen and Harley, who sadly are not with us, but that's okay. We're here to talk to you about our podcast. Woo! Tune in because it's a lot of fun, and you get to hear the chick side of things.
You're gonna BS about movies and drinking and life and momming.
Lots
and
of laughing. Lots of laughing.
I laugh, but it's great.
Yes.
We have finished our first season.
And we're starting our second season.
Woo!
Good Lord.
2024, here we come.
I know, enjoy it. Join us on all of the platforms.
Hear them talk and me listen.
You talk.
You can find us on Instagram and Facebook.
Pretty much anywhere you can hear voices on a phone.
And yeah, so give us a follow, check us out.
Watch us give Ron aneurysms.
It's the best part.
And thanks for listening. We will talk to you soon.
Hello there.
All right, we are back with BAF. So we just took a little break. So the
All
Christ
right.
theory.
All right, so the Christ theory. All right. So you have to keep in mind this will be Christ the Destroyer type figure. The Christ that went in and flipped over the table of the money changers in
the temple.
In the temple. The young angry Christ type mentality.
Yeah.
Okay. So have that in your mind, not Christ the Redeemer, Christ the Destroyer.
Okay.
All right. So we'll just go because we've talked about numerous times about Patrick Swayze being the pedophile and being the piece of shit that he was.
He was good for actor wise. He did good of what he did, especially the whole. I actually enjoyed the scene when basically Jake Gyllenhaal calls him out.
Yes.
When Donnie Darko calls him out.
I'm getting ready to go right to that scene.
Go ahead.
So he calls him the Antichrist.
Right.
In that one. So let's go ahead and let's look at that a little bit closer. The Antichrist is going to be an agent of Satan or Satan himself.
Right.
Child of Satan. Somebody who's going to bring about the end of days. So somebody, pure evil, piece of shit, horrible, horrible individual.
Yeah.
Right. But he's also going to be a snake in sheep's clothing.
Right.
That's how he's going to get people to accept him.
Yeah.
All right. He's just going to be a smooth talker, selling people what they want to hear.
A fake evangelist, basically.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which is his character throughout this whole fucking film. If you think about it, every time you see him, he's slimy. He is fucking used car salesman.
What's that evangelist that actually was found out to be fake, basically, just for all the money and stuff like that? There was one that was on
All of
TV.
them?
Yeah, I know. There was one famous one that was on TV and stuff like that. I forgot his name.
Okay, there's a lot of them. I will. I'm not
So
even being
he's
anti.
basically like a character based off of one of those type of people. Okay.
So, he talks about earlier in the thing when he's going through his stuff. All right, teens these days, they're tempted, and these are his exact words.
Right.
They are tempted by drugs, alcohol, and sex.
Yeah.
All right. So you go back to the Bible. How many temptations did Satan do to Jesus to try to get him to come aboard?
Multiple ones.
3.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah,
3
I wouldn't know the
temptations.
exact number.
All right. And Jesus makes through those temptations.
Yeah.
On the other side. Throughout this film, Donnie bases drugs, the cigarettes. So after he survives, those little fucking fucks at the bus stop. Well, hey, you lived, man. Have a cigarette.
Right.
All right. Oh, man, how was that, man?
Yeah.
All right.
His stupid little 2 friends.
Drugs.
Yeah.
Drugs. All right. He's hanging out with the friends. They're talking about Smurfette being a whore and shit like that. And Donnie shuts him down. Donnie's drinking throughout the time.
Yeah.
Alcohol.
Okay.
The temptation of alcohol. And then he ends up fucking his girlfriend. Sex. All right. He makes it through all 3 of those temptations.
Does he fuck her?
Yes.
Is that okay? That's the scene when she was up in the bedroom with him.
Yes.
Okay. I didn't know if they actually fucked her or they just made out.
And then it's implied that they fuck multiple times afterwards and shit like that. You know, wake up in the middle of the field and shit like that on a blanket.
Okay.
And he comes home. I mean, it's like how fast a teenage relationship.
Yeah.
progresses.
And there was a lot of things about him being a teenager that I remember being a kid myself, being a teenager myself, the way he acted and stuff like that, the way he talked. It just reminded me of
fuck ass.
Yeah.
Fuck ass. All right, calls her a fuck ass.
Yep.
I'm like, that is absolutely a teenage fucking, put down.
The two friends that, especially the two guys that talking to the fucking little fat Asian chick.
Oh, they are so mean to her.
What?
All right,
was she in love with Donnie Darko?
So, if you watch throughout the film, and this goes on to more of him being a Christ figure.
Don't tell me he was like a Mary Magdalene.
You watch throughout the film, they're giving her shit. He tells them to fucking stop it, leave her alone. All right,
Mary
he's like,
Magdalene.
He's being nice to her throughout the film. He's the only one showing being nice to her.
Right.
Then, during the talent show, she's dressed in white, doing Swan Lake, but
Doing
acting
like
more angelic
autumn or something like that.
Yes, and then
Angels in
dancing
Autumn.
around and being angelic and wearing the flowing white robe and looking like an angel and stuff like that. And then at the end, Donnie goes to her when she's got her little fucking earmuffs on and shit like that. And he grabs her fucking earmuffs. He's like, the future is going to be better for you. All right. Basically telling her, don't fucking give up on today just because today fucking sucks. It's going to be better.
So Mary Magdalene. Mary Magdalene. Okay, see, that's what I thought. Okay, good. So
and then he carries her with him by wearing the earmuffs. Right. Like that. He carries a part of her. He takes her wanting to shut out the outside world. He takes that into himself.
Okay.
All right, he takes her issues, her sickness into himself.
Okay.
All right. And continues on.
Yeah.
He tries to fix the world through two different means. First, through flooding, by flooding the school.
Yeah.
All right. Busting the water main.
Yep.
What did God do the first time he tried?
Flood the world. Noah's Ark.
Okay. There you go. Then
the axe inside the statue, though?
That is the destroyer part of him. That is him just being a destroyer. Destroying a false idol.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay. Jesus Christ. You're making my mind trying to figure out what I'm going to think here.
So that isn't enough. The world is still falling victim to this Antichrist, to this piece of evil thing. So first he calls out the evil. All right. He calls out the evil to his face. He calls out his name in front of everybody, calls him the Antichrist.
Yes.
For everybody to acknowledge, and they still don't believe him. They still won't turn their back on this demon figure.
Right.
All right. So he's like, all right, I must destroy this world. How does he destroy the world again? How's the next time God destroys the world? What does it come down with?
Fire.
Fire and brimstone, baby.
Yep.
What does he do? He burns down the fucking house, which thereby leads to the pedophile basement.
Was
for
this
the
in the director's
world
mind?
to see?
Is this a theory or is this a director's
open
thought?
There's a quote from the director. And this sounds so fucking
because now
asinine.
this movie's starting to start biblical.
This sounds so asinine. When he was writing it, his quote was, "Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I am writing it as a viewer."
So he's just like, oh, right.
It's as if the story came into his head and he's just writing it all down. He said, I didn't even go back and reread it because I knew if I reread it, I'd start to really question what the hell I'm putting down on paper and destroy it all.
So he could just
go ahead and wrote it all down and then immediately started sending it out to people.
So he could probably be just thinking to himself, God's making me write this film. Just like he made the apostles and all that, write the Bible and all that, the different books of the Bible.
But he was like, I'm writing it as if I am a viewer of the film. I don't know what the fuck's going on. And when he made the director's cut, he's like, this is me just trying to guess what is going on.
So he doesn't even know what the fuck he's writing about.
No.
But the shit that's coming up upon is biblical. It's got that biblical comparison, especially with the... Okay.
All right. Then... So there is a quote by a famous writer, and I forget. I'm pissing me off. I can't remember who said it. He said something along the lines, "If you want to sell a story to the Western world, make it a Christ story. They eat that shit up.
Well, Christ story has been used multiple times.
They eat that shit up is the quote. All right?
Yeah.
And which it does. If you think about it.
Fucking Matrix does it. I mean,
every Christ telling has some sort of following, some sort of acceptance.
Yeah.
We as Christian-based countries and mentalities, since birth, we've been fed to accept this amazing story as amazing.
Yeah, but it's also it's been adapted in many different type of stories.
Yes, but it all boils down to this simple same formula.
Yeah, but I can say that about a lot of Bible stories.
It does. Yes,
like
100%.
The Ten Commandments.
Yes.
That story's probably been used multiple times. The Moses and brother
Yes.
and stuff like that. That's been used in other movies.
Yes.
So a lot of movies borrow from the
100%.
biblical.
Absolutely. No, I'm not saying Donnie is the fucking only one that ever fucking do this. No.
Right.
I'm just saying this is another example of you tell a Christ story. It don't matter how weird the Christ story is.
Right.
It's gonna get eaten up by the public.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And that's what it did.
Yeah.
Okay. And even if they didn't realize at the time, it's a Christ story.
Right.
And to support more of the idea that it's a Christ story, that it's a God Christian based story, they talk about the paths of destiny.
Well, him sacrificing himself, he's basically
That'll
crucifying
be at the end.
himself to the point where
Hence
everybody
why
else.
they filmed the scene where he dies upon wood. That they were like, okay, this is a little too much.
But still, the fact that the director didn't even know what the hell he was writing, he was just writing it as a viewer.
Yes.
It's still kind of okay. So you got the time theory, you got the Christ theory, you got the
which he has. So he is the Christ, and he has to sacrifice himself in order to save the lives of everyone else.
Yes, I remember him sitting on the car and looking at the storm and everything else.
He recognizes that is what
this
must
is what
be
this
done.
is what this is basically my destiny to die so everybody else can live happy.
Just like remember when Christ was told what his destiny was going to be, he kind of rebelled for a little bit and fucking fought against it until he accepted it.
This changing my opinion of what I think of the story now.
Yeah.
Because I was going to be going by the dream theory.
Yes.
Yeah, dream theory. So we got the dream, we got the schizophrenic, we got the
what if it's all right?
Huh?
What if it's all right? That comes to the unifying theory. All of it's right. All right. So he has touched everything throughout this. Everybody that he's touched in their lives feel that on a cellular basic emotional strength level.
Yeah.
Even if they don't remember it.
Right.
It's ingrained in them spiritually. He wakes up from his dream. He does have mental issues. All right.
Oh, yeah.
He has mental issues. So
he has a split personality.
It isn't a split personality.
It feels like one.
But that's not. That's Frank. That's the spirit. That's the spirit leading him to do other things which needed to be done, just like the Holy Spirit was leading Christ.
So if
to do
the
what needed to
Christ,
be done.
so would you say that Frank was an angel or was Frank a Satan?
No, Frank definitely not Satan.
Okay, so he was an angel then.
Not necessarily an angel, just a spirit.
Just the spirit of the person that died in the past.
Yes, that in order to go back and do good things.
So he's kind of an angel then.
Angel adjacent. Let's say,
Angelic. Okay.
All right. He's going back to do good things because if he doesn't,
it's a really weird looking angel.
Yeah. If he doesn't lead Donnie down this path, if he doesn't bring Donnie through these steps, then Donnie wouldn't have been where he needed to be. His girlfriend wouldn't have been where she needed to be. Everything wouldn't have happened the way it needed to happen for Donnie to recognize his true power and his true potential.
The flooding of the school, the fucking burning of the pedophile's house. What else was it?
The go ahead and destroying of the false idol.
The statue. Yeah, that's the same place with the flooding.
It wouldn't have been there to be a friend to the heavier set angel chick.
Yeah.
Help her along. Wouldn't have recognized the world for what it was. Wouldn't have let him down the time travel thing. Wouldn't have let him down to come to grandma death.
Yeah.
And everything. None of that would have happened if Frank wasn't there to kind of push him in the directions he needed to be pushed.
Okay. So we got our theories here.
All right.
So now I have to think which one I have to truly.
So the unifying theory says, yes, Donnie was crazy, but he was crazy only to a point. This wasn't all just in his head. No.
Yeah, but I feel like it was his destiny.
Exactly. So the destiny part, which is you're talking about free. Even Noah Wile's character talks about you're discussing free will. If you see your destiny, then you can choose not to do it, which thereby means it's not destiny.
Right.
But then you're coming to the argument of God.
Yeah.
If God exists, God says he grants us free will whether to choose to follow him or not.
Yeah.
But God also knows what choice we're going to make. So does free will actually exist? That's a philosophical question that's way fucking deeper than we have time to try to dissect, because there is no true answer to that. But they basically come to that, and Donnie's argument is just because you see the path you're on doesn't mean you're going to change the path you're on, because you're following God's channel, God's path.
Right.
You're following the one true path. And that's what he sees, everybody's destiny, everybody's path that they're supposed to follow.
Okay.
And whether you see it or not, you should still follow it.
Okay.
All right, because that's God's path.
Right.
In Donnie's mind.
Yeah.
So Donnie, in the unifying theory, yes, the tangent universe happens. The time travel happens. The tangent universe happens. Donnie thereby becomes the Christ figure of this tangent universe.
Mm-hmm.
And thereby a Christ figure of our main universe, because he's going to sacrifice himself and that entire universe in order to save the main universe.
Okay.
All right. So he is the Christ figure in the tangent universe, a Christ figure in the main universe.
Okay. Interesting.
And just because you sacrifice and give yourself over doesn't mean you get notoriety for what you do. That's not why you should be sacrificing yourself. You should be sacrificing yourself not to be known and thought about, but because it's the right thing to do.
Right.
That's why you should be sacrificing yourself, and that's why Donnie does.
So I'm curious what yours is going to be.
No?
I guess we'll find that out in the Pint reviews, because now mine's has changed.
Good.
Believe it or not. But my input on the movie, my review of the movie still hasn't changed yet, but I don't think that's going to. But we'll talk about the movie itself altogether.
Now, a lot of people think that you should watch the original, the theatrical version first, because it is more ambiguous.
Does the director's cut take anything out?
It doesn't take anything out. No,
it just adds to
stuff to it.
Because sometimes directors like to take things out.
No, he just added shit to it, and what he added was some more character building and development, and more explaining what his current theory was at the time of what the fuck's going on. But even he admitted it might not be right. That was just his idea.
Yeah.
But a lot of people really enjoy the lack of clarity in a theatrical cut, because it makes you think, all right, what is the truth? What is going on here? And then it makes you come up with different ideas.
You said you watched the theatrical cut in what way?
I watched both of them multiple times now. So you should watch and I agree. You should watch the theatrical one first. Start coming up with your ideas, what's going on.
And then watch the director's cut.
Watch the director's cut. And keep in mind, the director's cut isn't gospel. It isn't necessarily truth.
You already told me what stuff was added to it.
Yes.
So.
But is only what is the answer in the director's mind, not necessarily the truth. And he admits that.
Which one does he admit is the better version?
He doesn't say one or another is the better version. He said, I put out the director's cut because people were asking me what the answers is, so I decided to throw out what I thought the answer might have been.
So he made the cut because people were confused.
They weren't confused. They just wanted more. All right. So he's like, okay, I will give you what I think might be the answer, but this is only one possible explanation.
Right.
Still go by the original and go with your own thoughts, your own theories, your own feelings, and just appreciate my idea as something as a companion piece, not as the main one.
Okay.
This isn't Blade Runner, the director's cut. All right, the final edition or whatever, where this is what it's supposed to be.
Well, fuck, Blade Runner's gone through like 3 or 4 cuts. So.
This isn't what that's supposed to be. This isn't Superman the Donner cut. All right, this is
He just basically added a little bit to add to the flavor, basically to explain some things that some people
may
didn't.
be explaining things.
Yeah,
he's like, here's my idea of what may be happening,
but
I don't
like
know
you
if it's
said,
true. But he was in a position where he could.
But he wrote
It's like
this as a viewer, as you said.
It was more. He made it more as a fan film than anything else, and he had the ability to do it.
Interesting. Okay. All right. That definitely okay. It doesn't change my opinion about the movie, but it does change my opinion what I think the movie's about. Because when you watch the movie, I was watching this last night, and I was just because I literally watched this last night to get ready for this. I did a last minute because sometimes I always wait. I do like a week before this movie, but I actually wanted to get this in my mind because I haven't seen it in a while. And I watched this last night, and I was like, why is this movie loved? Like I kept thinking to myself, why do people love this movie?
Super low budget, right?
It's extremely, but I have no problem with low budget movies. I watch a lot of low budget movies.
Super low budget.
Yeah.
The effects that they showed for super low budget were
Not
fine.
bad. No, they're fine.
We're fine.
No, the fucking chest things look better than they did in The Abyss.
They did.
Because it's nowadays compared to The Abyss being in 1989.
Yes.
So, but it was just like, is that from The Abyss? Because that's what it kind of reminded me of.
And he even describes it, as this watery type thing.
And the storm scene, when you see the storm in the sky, that looked beautiful. I mean, I had no problem with that. There really isn't that many special effects.
No.
Actually, the one special effect I enjoyed is when Donnie Darko was talking to Frank and he's like pressing against like the force field
barrier
or whatever. Yeah. That was
where he's trying to break through that barrier.
Yeah,
and that fucking barrier.
And that sound of Frank, just his low tone voice, just the way that he talked, I enjoyed. I was like, this guy's like, what the fuck?
So Frank in every scene was played by that actor that we saw, except for the original scene.
Let me see what the actor.
Yeah, I'm blanking on his name, but the one that we saw get his eye blown out.
Frank is James Duvall. James Duvall plays Frank, and the only movie I've ever seen him in, you said you've seen him in multiple, is Independence Day. He was one of the sons of Randy Quaid, the guy that was crazy for the aliens. But
there's only one scene, and it was the very first scene filmed and the very first scene we see in the film, which is the one of Frank on the golf course, where he's talking about 28 days.
Yeah.
All right.
Which I still think it's crazy. 28 days it was written and filmed.
So that was actually done by, I want to say the DP was one in the suit for that time.
Right.
So there was a lot of conversation between Richard Kelly and the production designer of what Frank was actually going to look like. And so they settled on this look, and they talked about the first time the crew saw Frank just in the middle of the night, just fucking standing there. And he's like, the entire fucking crew.
In the bunny mask?
Yeah. The entire fucking crew just shut the fuck up. And they're like, oh. Right? Well, and he's like, that's when I knew.
Seeing the bunny in the
had
dark?
It right. We had it right.
Yeah.
It's because of that appearance right there. It feels natural, but then it feels wrong. It feels like if you saw this, you'd run. I also have a theory. So,
he looks freaky as fuck.
So Richard Kelly talks about he doesn't know where the idea of Frank necessarily came from. He didn't know if it came from Watership Down or if it came from a dream or what. I have a personal theory. So Richard Kelly grew up not too far from here. Mm-hmm. He grew up in Midlothian, Virginia in the 80s.
Oh, shit. Not too far from us.
Not too far. So one of the things in Virginia folklore.
Oh, shit. I know what you're talking about.
The Bunny Man.
Yeah.
Bunny Man.
We've talked about that before.
Yes, the Bunny Man was this crazy dude who escaped from an asylum.
Yeah.
Walked around in a bunny suit and fucking killed people and shit like that. So part of my mind is thinking there's a good chance Richard Kelly heard this fucking
About the bunny man
of the bunny man.
So he's trying to make this demonic bunny.
And then that just kind of like leaked into his head.
It works.
And it worked. I came out amazing. This wonderful, weird, like normal, but then super fucked up character at the same time. And it provided enough of wrongness to be memorable.
Yes.
And I thought that was amazing. A great choice.
I think the bunny costume and everything else in the face was really freaky, especially when you just see him just standing there. It kind of, okay, I know you're going to think this is weird, but it kind of reminds me of Jason Voorhees when he's just standing there and he's like bobbing his head, but it's Frank the bunny. And it's just like he's just standing there.
Which, if you think about, that's basically what you'd probably do as a fucking ghost. You're like, what the fuck's going on here?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
He's just a normal fucking dude. And then even to the point where Donnie asked him, why do they call you Frank? Because that was my father's name and the name of my father's father. Yeah, he's Frank the Third. Yeah. All right, that's what. All right, he's Frank whatever the third.
But in this,
all right,
and
Frank
the bunny.
It's true what he's saying.
Yeah,
it was his dad's name and his dad's name. All right, you know, there was just naming fucking generation, but it sounds super ominous when he says it that way in a bunny suit. All right, it's like, God, that sounds super deep and super freaky. No, it's not. It's just fucking his name.
It's definitely a very demonic looking
Frank.
Yeah.
Frank was here, went to get beer. All right. that is absolutely something like the Frank went to do. Frank was at that house party. All right. And then went to go get beer with his buddy in the car, which then led to the death of Donnie's girlfriend.
Yep. Getting rolled over.
Coming back.
Yep.
Because they were coming back from a beer run.
Yeah, because it was shocking me when I saw that thing on the note, because I thought that was something in his head and was actually something that actually happened, that Frank was actually there the whole time, and then he became his kind of almost like demonic conscience, basically. Yeah. So it's fucking weird.
Like, all of this was laid out, and if the director and the writer did not intentionally do all of this, this is a hell of a string of coincidences that all this shit has happened to be fucking laid out.
Some people, well, see, like I said, this is the reason why, even though I'm not a big fan of this movie, I relate this movie a lot to David Lynch.
Yes.
David Lynch movies have a lot of symbolism, have a lot of interesting little things with sound and vision, like basically just flashbacks, like sequences that happen in the movie. It kind of related to this. There's a lot of, like I said, symbolism, where basically,
so multiple people. This script floated around Hollywood for a couple years,
through Richard Kelly,
and people passing it around, and it was known as, referred to as more than once as the script everybody loves, but has no idea how to make.
Right.
They didn't know how to make, and what Richard Kelly was doing, he was doing something that was much different. He was sending the script to producers to read and then talking to them about it. When most people were like, all right, let me give you a 5-minute elevator pitch real quick.
Yeah.
You know, break it down. He's like, there's no way for me to explain this movie in a quick little pitch. People have to read the script and then we can talk about it. And if they don't read it or they don't understand it, then I'm not going to waste their time by trying to talk to them about it.
Reading the script must have been really interesting for the actors, because
it took a long time for anybody to sign up to do this. They had a few different actors on the hook.
I'm sure they had multiple reads.
So Mark Wahlberg was one of the people that they was going to do it. He said, yes, I'll do it, but only if Donnie can have a lisp. And they were like, no.
Yeah.
No. Donnie will not have a lisp in this. He already has enough fucking problems.
Right.
We don't need to throw something else at him. Then I'm not doing it.
So then Jake Gyllenhaal did it with his sister.
Yeah. And that's what Jake said. He's like, all right, I'll do it, but can Maggie play my sister? Like, yeah. Yes.
She didn't really have a big role, though. It was a very small
role. In the director's cut, it was a much bigger role than it was in the theatrical cut.
So the whole
what you saw in the theatrical cut or in the director's cut was much longer than the theatrical cut.
So the scene at the dinner table when they're talking in the beginning of the movie, that wasn't in the theatrical cut?
A little bit shorter.
Really?
Yeah.
So she really wasn't that big of a character.
She was a very tiny character.
No shit.
Very tiny character. And his younger sister had the same amount basically, but then she goes on to
with that dance thing.
Yeah, but she goes on to have her own sequel, and which had nothing to do with Richard Kelly. With only her and one producer had anything to do with the first film.
There's a sequel to this movie that's
called S. Darko, about Samantha Darko.
Is that a full movie, or is it just like a short film?
100%. And she's like a teenager now, and she has weird shit going on in her life, and she talks about her brother dying, and
I don't know why
then
I've
she
never heard of
starts
that.
seeing shit, including the
But
fucking paths.
it's not official. It's not like
It's Richard Kelly doesn't acknowledge it as truth. It technically he doesn't have the rights. He didn't have the rights to the film, so it is canon. But
that's weird.
It's shitty. It's
So
shitty. It's not good.
Do you think Richard Kelly wanting to make a direct follow up to this would be interesting?
I think Richard Kelly, with what he's gone through now,
he hasn't done anything.
No, but what he's gone through as growing up now, he can, and seeing other stuff, he can throw another really cool feel to it.
Yeah.
So he talks about so Francis Ford Coppola was interested in producing the film for a minute there. There was a line in the original script saying how parents these days have no idea what goes on with their teenagers and have no clue how to help them.
Right.
And Francis Coppola just talks about right here, this is what your movie's about. Right here.
Right.
The alone feeling that teenagers go through nowadays and have to deal with, and them trying to find their way in this fucked up world.
Okay.
This is what your movie is about and what you need to focus on. And Kelly said he took that to heart. He's like, I tried to focus a lot of this on Donnie's perspective, but even him being an unreliable narrator that he is, I made sure to try to focus it on his perspective because it was his feelings that were driving everything.
Right.
And that told the emotional tone that every scene was going through.
Okay.
And I was like, that's respect right there. That is respect. Even though it's somebody that you didn't end up working with, you took their criticism and their input to heart and paying the fuck ton of respect that you should to somebody like Coppola, and incorporating that into your storytelling.
Right.
What do you think about the acting?
The acting in this movie was good. I had no issue with the acting altogether. I thought even Patrick Swayze, for what the short role that he did,
important role though.
Yeah, which was interesting because he was kind of more of like the what would you call
life coach?
He was a life coach. He kind of reminded me of I don't know why Requiem for a Dream for some reason with the drugs.
Okay,
you remember the one that was shoving the drugs down her throat, basically the whole TV host, everything like that. Also reminded me of there's a lot of movies that have done people like that before. Magnolia. Magnolia is more for like the men, respect the cock, basis like that. The Tom Cruise character in Magnolia and stuff like that. But I did not realize he was going to be a pedophile.
Exactly.
But believe it or not, there are
little weird stuff. You're like,
yeah.
The entire time you're watching him, you feel
there's something up with him. He's not, and also he could be for the money, but no, he likes kiddie porn. It was interesting. The acting altogether from Jake Gyllenhaal, I think he did great. Maggie Gyllenhaal did great. I thought
his girlfriend
I really enjoyed the dad.
Yes,
I thought the dad, especially with
trying
the whole
to be
thing,
cool, but also a friend and a joke, joking around with his fucking wife and shit like that.
Yeah, the beginning of the part when he was doing the snowblower or the not snowblower, the leaf blower and stuff like that, blows it in the face. Yeah. No, I enjoyed the father. I enjoy when their whole dynamic with him and his wife and everything else. We should get a divorce. Yeah, it was like a whole big joke. Yeah, I enjoyed that. So no, the acting was fine. I enjoyed the acting.
The scene where at the end where Donnie's dead, the girlfriend rides by, the mom is just sitting there against a tree smoking a cigarette.
Oh, you're talking
destroyed. You can see emotionally she's just fucking destroyed.
Well, see, that part
and then
got
her
to
just
me.
kind of waving.
Well, both the kids were waving back at her.
Yeah. So first it was if you notice, the girl waved first, the mom waved back, then the boy waved.
Okay.
All right. So the boy felt like, oh, she's waving at us. All right, not recognizing.
But
that
still, that's a weird way to wave.
It was a weird thing because they kind of felt an emotional connection, but they have no idea why they felt an emotional connection.
Right.
Because of the tangent universe. They feel this weird connection. They don't know why. So Richard Kelly says that actually happened. Something similar happened to him in real life. He wrote that scene in there specifically. When he was a kid, he was on his bike and he was riding by a hotel and he saw this woman standing on the balcony of the hotel just looking destroyed, just looking fucking like, tears.
And you waved back.
Thrown, and smoking a cigarette. And he just stared at her and it was like, man, this woman looks really fucking sad. And she just kind of like waves at him. And he felt like I just waved back. And it was so fucking weird. And it was so surreal.
Yeah.
And that's what I wrote. I wrote that in because it felt so fucking weird.
Believe it or not, a lot of directors do that.
Yeah.
A lot of directors, sometime when they write a movie, even I have a thing that I'm writing, which has been years in the making. I'm still working on it.
I know you are.
Believe it or not, I got this new Mac right here, and I was actually looking at the story. I was like, oh man, I want to get right back into this and everything else, but I'm writing stuff that I know about. Characters, like people are based, even your name's in there. But the thing is
that's awesome.
Not actually, it's something
what?
else. You're one of the punks.
What? Oh, fuck you.
You're one of the punk kids, actually. Slash and Stu. No, believe it or not, I know it's funny because I've been trying to just make like a little script that I'm making and everything else.
And
It's
no,
just a little
I think,
hobby.
like I said, him throwing in stuff like that, throwing stuff that happened to real, that scene right there, it felt so fucking real.
No, that's what I'm saying. A lot of directors, what they'll do is they'll actually, if they're writing a movie, they'll write something in there that something happened in their life when they were a kid or when they were an adult or something they just saw out of a random thought. It's like, oh, I saw that. I'm going to put that in the movie. I'm going to put that in the script. Which is
those
cool.
are the ones right there that stick with you. Those moments in time, just stick with you so much, and that's what shows on the screen.
And I actually loved the mother.
Yeah, she did amazing.
And you know who she is, right?
I've seen her in a fucking 100 things.
Well, the one thing I always remember is Stands with a Fist.
Yes.
From Dance with the Wolves, which I actually love that movie. Even though Goodfellas should have won, Dance with the Wolves is great. Goodfellas should have won Best Picture. But either way, she was great as that character. She's always also, I think she was also in Independence Day. She was the mother in that too, which is kind of funny because we were talking about Independence Day with the other kid. But she's been in a lot of other movies, but her as the mom, she did really good job.
She seems so real. Like when the crazy church lady.
Oh, you're talking about the thing about going over to the other the trip when she wanted to be.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know if that's a good weekend for me. What do you mean? We have to care about our kids. I question your commitment. I made her the lead. I'm like,
she played a good,
God damn.
She was a fucking annoying woman. Like, I hated her.
But we've known women like that.
Yes.
We've known people just like that.
But I've seen her character type in other movies before too, where it's like a person that's like, or based on a certain theme. They idolize this character.
But they come from real life.
Yes,
we know people that take what these fucking snake oil salesmen are fucking selling us, as gospel, as the holy fucking truth.
Yeah,
and they try to center their entire fucking lives around it.
Yeah,
all right, because that's the missing piece. They're fucking trying to fill the void in their life,
right?
And they make that all about it, and then everybody else on the outside is like, you're fucking a little crazy.
Yep.
Okay, there. And that's what the mom was.
Yeah,
she played that perfectly. And the scene where she's talking to the shrink about when the shrink says she wants to up Donnie's medicine.
Mm-hmm.
And
her and the husband were there.
Yeah, and you see her heart drop because she knows that her kid is broken, and she just wants what's right for him. But she's like, if that's what you think, we just want him to be better. If that's what you think, then we'll do it. Her just trying to muscle her way fucking through this horrible pain.
Yeah,
my God, fucking damn it.
Yeah, no,
she is amazing.
No, and
the husband trying to just be there and be the rock, the non-emotional one, when Donnie dies and he's holding the younger daughter, trying to be strong for her, and then you seeing him break and trying to be strong at the same fucking time. Like, God fucking damn.
No. Like I said, I have no
good fucking acting.
No complaints about the acting. There's no complaints about the acting. The thing is, you can have great acting in a movie, but still not like the movie and enjoy it. The acting was fine. I had no issues with the acting whatsoever. Even Seth Rogen for his little short role they had, even the fucking punk kid that was with him, his the one that when they were in the house, they went over there and he, also in the bathroom scene with Jake Gyllenhaal, and he kind of bullied him and everything else and put the knife to his throat.
So when the scene happened, we're in the bathroom scene, and the bully was asking Jake if he had said anything.
Yeah.
He fucking blamed him for the fucking shit and stuff like that. That felt real as hell.
Yeah.
That felt real.
Oh yeah, it did.
And even though that actor, not a great actor.
I've never seen him in anything.
Doesn't seem. I feel like he's like a character actor. I've seen him in a handful of fucking supporting tiny roles. Nothing major. Just always a fucking.
He had a familiar face, but I don't recall what he was in, so he wasn't
a
memorable.
Douchebag. Always a douchebag.
Yeah, but Seth Rogen was. That was
the first time you saw Seth Rogen, that get you
big fat guy.
Yeah, that catch you by surprise.
I thought Freaks and Geeks was his first thing.
That may have been his first role, but when was Freaks and Geeks? What year did that fucking film?
99, I think.
So that was before this.
So this was his first
2000
theatrical.
Was when this filmed.
Yeah, so this was his first theatrical role, I think. Yeah.
Let me see. Fill the time. I want to see if there's any other movies that are older than this.
And the actress that we have this movie, the one that plays the girlfriend, I've seen her
in a lot of things too.
Yeah, she's.
There's so many characters throughout this film that you've seen in a lot of things.
Yeah,
you've seen in a lot of things.
What was her name? It was Jenna Malone. Yeah, Jenna Malone.
Yeah.
She's a great actress. She's actually been in a lot of great movies. She was even in another
only
movie.
Like 16.
Yeah, she was young. She was young. I remember her.
I will say it felt like most of the people in this film, except for Jake. Jake was like 20 when they filmed it. But
was he 20? He looked younger than that.
I know. But
I
no,
thought he was like
16, he was born in 1980. All right, he's born in 1980. Because I even looked it up.
You remember his first movie?
No.
Bubble Boy.
Oh yeah.
Then he was also, I think, in October Sky or something.
But
like
I
that.
will say he looked the same age in Bubble Boy as he did in this.
That's what I'm saying. He looked like a teenager.
Yeah.
I didn't think he would be 20 years old in this, and his sister looked like she was 20,
Yeah.
but not him.
Even the sister felt like she was 18 to 20, which she even said she took a year off of college.
Yeah.
All right, so that would be the right time. It seemed like everybody was playing their appropriate age, which is rare.
Who got more popular, Jake Gyllenhaal or Maggie Gyllenhaal?
Jake, absolutely.
Well, Jake is, but Maggie has been in some. She's been in some good films.
Jake is by far the bigger name.
Yeah. What do you think is his best movie?
I'm going to pull his fucking IMDb.
Believe it or not, I actually enjoyed Prince of Persia. I thought it was.
That was fucking horseshit. You're fucking retarded.
It's fun.
You are retarded.
It was. I'm not saying it's his best acting
Roadhouse
movie.
was the best fucking movie I've ever seen. Brokeback Mountain was more up your alley.
You know what? He was good
I think
in that.
Brokeback Mountain is probably his. Jarhead. Fuck, man.
He was great. He was good in Jarhead.
The Covenant. He was great in The Covenant. Not necessarily Guy's best film, but
no, he was good in Prisoners, but he only had a short role in that. Prisoners was good with Hugh Jackman.
And The Watch was good.
Gyllenhaal.
Brothers was good. Spider-Man: Far From Home. He played fucking goddamn Mysterio.
Mysterio, yeah, he was fine in that. But,
Zodiac. Fuck me.
Zodiac is good.
Fuck me.
Zodiac is good. Nightcrawler was good. Have you seen Nightcrawler?
Yes.
Nightcrawler is really good too. Southpaw is good.
Source Code.
Southpaw is good.
Me.
Love and Other Drugs is actually a decent one too. From Edward Zwick.
Hey, Bubble Boy came out the same year as this.
Are you serious?
Yeah, 2001. Both of them. All right.
That movie is fucking different.
Which explains why he looked the same age.
He was good in Everest too for the short role he had.
Apparently, he was in City Slickers.
He was as a kid.
I would assume so, considering it came out in 91, which means he would have been 10.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, I've seen him in other movies where he's a kid before. I just don't remember what it was. But if I had to pick his best movie, you're probably going to laugh at me. But, God, Zodiac was really good, though.
It was.
And The Watch is really good, too.
I honestly, I'm going to have to say his best movie was probably Zodiac.
I think it's a cross between Zodiac and Nightcrawler. Because I don't know if have you seen Nightcrawler?
Yes.
He was really good in Nightcrawler.
He was, but I ain't gonna say that's his best.
And you're like I said, you're gonna laugh at me, but he was good in Brokeback Mountain too. Brokeback
He was good in
Brokeback Mountain is a decent movie. I think it's a good story. Sorry, it's about gay.
Why you gay?
I'm not
Why
gay.
you gay?
I'm not gay. I don't mind the movie. I think it's a good story between two.
When I snap my fingers,
Shut
you will
the fuck
forget
up.
you were gay.
I'm not gay. Did you snap your fingers?
Mm-hmm.
Fuck you. All right, we're past this. So
Are you gay?
No, I'm not gay.
All right, I win.
Oh, so you just mind fucked me. All right, you asshole.
You're welcome.
Jesus Christ.
Because you like Brokeback Mountain, I thought you liked dudes fucking you.
I think it's a good. I don't mind the movie. It's actually one of the movies. Even though it's a gay romance,
Brokeback Mountain.
It's a good
the
movie.
acting is fucking phenomenal.
No, I think
it is fucking phenomenal.
I think it's a good story.
It is a really tough subject as a heterosexual male in, that without all the toxic masculinity that we're inherently supposed to have.
Yeah.
It is, we're not supposed to say we like it, but it is an amazingly acted film. It is a tough story. It is fucked up, but it is amazing. It really is a well done film.
Okay, well, I'm glad that you get your opinion because
I'm always gonna make fun of you for it.
Of course you are, and I think a lot of people Bareback Mountain, all that crap.
Yeah.
But I mean, the thing about that movie is that Jake Gyllenhaal and even the late hitting what was it? I can't believe I forgot his name.
Joker.
Yeah, I don't know why my name just like.
The Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus?
Yes, I know who the actor is. It's just the name is like just escaped me for some reason. Hold on. Fuck. Jesus Christ. I know names so well, but I guess my mind is like blank. See, you're even looking it up.
No, I'm looking for other films I can maybe give you 10 Things I Hate About You. A Knight's Tale.
No, I know who you're talking. I know who it is. 10 Things I Hate. I know who the actor is. I just for some
Lords
reason.
of Dogtown. The Brothers Grimm. I forgot who was in that. I forgot. He was a main in that, dude. God damn. How did I forget that?
Just still trying to think. Oh, it's Heath Ledger.
There you fucking go.
Yeah, it's Heath Ledger. I don't know why the name just escaped me, but Heath Ledger was great in Brokeback Mountain with Jake Gyllenhaal. Yeah, and also what's her name? No, my mind is blank right now. Let's get back to the movie.
Anne Hathaway, Michelle Williams.
Thank you.
Which one are you talking about?
No, those two. But also it's directed by Ang Lee. And I actually like Ang Lee. Ang Lee's directed a lot of films. He actually directed...
I forgot Randy Quaid was in there.
Very short role. He was in the beginning.
It's still Randy Quaid.
In the beginning. But it's directed by Ang Lee, who actually directed another movie.
Fucked up. So I will always...
You remember Taking Woodstock?
Yeah. Oh, great film.
Yeah. No, I loved it.
I enjoyed fucking Taking Woodstock.
In a way that watching the Woodstock documentary from the 70s, or I mean from the 60s, is good to watch with Taking Woodstock because there's a lot of scenes in that movie that are in that documentary that are perfect. I thought it was a great movie. Ang Lee is a very good director.
100%.
Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. I mean, he's done a lot of great movies.
So Randy Quaid...
Was he in this?
No.
Oh, okay.
We're talking about in Brokeback Mountain. So it's fucked up. So I see two Randy Quaids in my mind, and that's it. Those are the only two Randy Quaids, and they'll always be the two Randy Quaids in my mind. So the Randy Quaid from National Lampoons.
As Eddie?
Yes. Cousin Eddie.
Yeah.
Cousin Eddie. That's it. That's that Randy Quaid right there. And then the Randy Quaid from where he's fucking squatting in a goddamn hotel and got a long beard and it's fucking crazy as shit in real life.
His craziness.
All right. That is the other Randy Quaid.
Also made a sex tape?
Yes.
Yeah.
Those are the... That's it. Those are the, when people tell me Randy Quaid, it's not him from Independence Day, or no, it's fucking Cousin Eddie or crazy ass fucking Randy Quaid.
The funny thing is,
the only Randy Quaid.
The funny thing is, he's actually been in a lot of serious films in the early
amazing
90s.
films.
A lot of
great
movies.
actor. I loved watching him in everything he did.
Yeah,
but that's what he lives in my mind.
I think he was even in Days of Thunder.
Yes.
Yeah, with Tom Cruise.
Yes.
I believe he was in that.
That's one of the pit crew, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
God damn it. Yeah. It's crazy.
But no, that's what lives in my head is those two Randy Quaids.
I just think of the mafia boss in Ice Harvest.
It's like Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise will always be Mission Impossible Tom Cruise or South Park's I'm always running in my movies because I'm running away from the gay. All right.
I've never seen that. I don't watch South Park as much as you guys.
If I run quick enough, the game won't catch me.
Yes.
That's what he always in his movies. He's
run.
always running.
He runs. Shit, the fucking Mission Impossible trailer that's coming out, which I'm going to see because I actually enjoy the Mission Impossible films. There was probably at least 10 scenes in there of him running.
Yes.
I mean, seriously, he is always fucking running.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've seen every. Honestly, I may have seen every Tom Cruise film. I very well may have.
Yeah, I have too.
All right.
No,
He's a great actor. I love him to death. But those are the only two Tom
Cruise.
Cruises.
Sure, the other one because I think we did it in our top 5 actors. He's one of my top 5. I love Tom Cruise.
Spicy boner.
Bum, 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 bum. Spin the wheel.
Fuck. I really did.
You did really well since the first break. All right, you did really well.
Sammy told me how she makes the jokes, and whenever I watch a Tom Cruise movie, he says, "Hey, Ron, he's running." He's running because she knows
running from the gay.
Grab something yummy.
Hey, very nice.
I got something good.
He's running from the gay.
Yeah.
That's why he's always running.
Yeah. No, I love Tom Cruise. I think Tom Cruise is great. I don't care what anybody thinks. He may be a crazy person on the outside, but you know what? He makes entertaining movies. He's a good actor. He's done really good acting roles. I love Vanilla Sky, Magnolia, Interview with the Vampire, Mission Impossible, anything from him. Anyways, we're going completely off track. Let's get back to the movie. No, it's
this
us
is why I like
movie lovers.
Us episodes. Because I mean, we start with something and then we just like tangent.
Yeah.
But we build off each other so well, I think,
Yeah.
that I think it's entertaining. I think it's fun.
Oh yeah.
And if people don't like it, then don't bother watching or subscribing. But if you do like it,
then unsubscribe.
Fucking watch.
But still subscribe. But anyways.
Don't bother unsubscribing. It's fine. Eventually, if you don't watch enough of us, we won't show up on your, feed. But still subscribe to us. Because it helps us.
All right. So you said the acting. So
the acting was good. What do you think about the filming, the actual the camera angles and what they put on film?
There was some scenes that I really enjoyed. Like I said, the scene with the Donnie Darko talking basically almost like in the mirror, but he was actually talking to Frank, and he's like that force field and everything. Yes. There were some scenes of
both in the earlier bathroom one where he's just like kind of pushing against it, and then later on we had the knife.
Yeah,
and he's going right against Frank's eye.
And what I liked about
great foreshadowing.
It is, and with Jake Gyllenhaal's the way that he's always looking, like he's basically looking like this.
Yeah,
like he's like looking always like basically like evil, like dark, like Donnie Darko. That was his look throughout the whole movie, which in a way was only when he was in his talking with Frank. When he wasn't talking with Frank, he was like all talking and everything else, talking like a regular teenager. But when he was talking to Frank, he was in a completely different world, and so that's why I thought it was a split personality.
I really recognized with Donnie when. The scene where he's talking with his friends about Smurfette being a whore, and he's calling bullshit on their interpretation.
Right.
I immediately fucking recognized with fucking Donnie because I'm like, that is me. Yeah. I've had not that conversation, but very similar conversations growing up where you hear one of your friends go off on some weird fucking tangent. And you're like, no, that's fucking bullshit.
Right.
Because of this, that, and the other. All right. And you lay out the fucking facts. And then like, God damn it. Why do you got to be fucking so smart? Yeah. All right. Why are you killing the fucking mood?
Right.
All right. And I'm like, fuck. All right. Yeah. I feel like I do that on the show and stuff like that, where I get too emotionally involved in stuff. And then I use logic to get myself out of situations that I shouldn't have.
Well, you
just go along with it.
You did that with Donnie, with Brave Little Toaster.
Yeah.
And there's some other movies that you've done. You went really like into it, like really into the conversation, stuff like that, where it brought a great conversation piece with the episode and stuff like that. So, but I kind of thought that this was going to be a very big conversation piece episode because this is a lot of theory thinking.
I know a lot of like Sammy was assuming it was going to be a lot of yelling and arguing and shit like that. It's not.
No.
The reason I love this film is because it makes you think, and I love being able to have conversations with people to try to get them to see others' points of view.
Right.
Whether I agree with them or not, I am a person who enjoys discussion.
Yes.
And this is a perfect film that encourages discussion.
Which I think the discussion that we're having right now, it's going to raise something, but it's not going to raise that's what I love about our reviews. Our point reviews are not just one certain review. We have enjoyment and critical. So sometimes you can have a movie that you can have a high critical but a low enjoyment. Yeah. So I think this is going to raise something because I already had a score for this movie, but it might raise something. But
that's what I'm really hoping for. And that's what I've been kind of fucking I'm kind of edging myself for. I'm like, oh man, if I can get fucking Ron, who's somebody who fucking hates this movie, to find something enjoyable, to walk away after a conversation with something a little bit more appreciative of something than what he originally had, then I succeeded.
See, the thing is, last night when I watched this movie, I was like, I'm never going to watch this movie again. Like, this is the last time I'm fucking watching this movie. I'm done. But after talking with this, I want to watch the theatrical cut now.
Like I said,
just to see, even though it doesn't take anyone, it doesn't add, but it takes away those little scenes. I'm curious to see how that makes the movie different experience compared to watching the director's cut. So I want to watch that experience. If you do watch
it, have these different theories in your mind.
That's what I mean.
And start looking out for the breadcrumbs that are laid out and see if you can start catching them and appreciating them and saying, okay, they laid this out back in fucking scene 3. God damn. And then didn't pay off till fucking scene 47 or whatever. Just start building some appreciation to the stuff, and maybe that'll make you appreciate it a little bit more. The ambiguity is that's the biggest driving thing about this film to me, is the ambiguity, that it doesn't treat you like a child and have to give you all the answers. It doesn't have to spoon feed you everything. No, it's like, all right, I'm going to tell you a fucked up story. What it means, it's up to you to figure out. Yeah. All right. The moral of the story, that's up to you.
Right.
If I'm fucking trying to tell some major, awesome, overarching, biblical level fucking story, or I'm just telling about some dude's fucking weird ass dream, hey, that's up to you to figure out.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that a lot. So Kevin Smith, who I'm a huge fan of. Kevin Smith.
I'm a fan of his earlier films. His later films, not too fan of, but his earlier films, yes.
I think he's a great writer. He's a true
he's good at dialogue.
Who appreciates film. He definitely is somebody who appreciates film.
I feel like he's the comedic version of, I know the comedic version of Tarantino. More of like
I can respect
comedy dialogue compared to Tarantino's more of like the drama and more action, more violent dialogue.
Yes,
Kevin Smith is more of like the comedy dialogue.
Yeah. But you will say it's somebody who, just like Tarantino, it's somebody who appreciates film.
Oh yeah.
All right, and somebody we would strive to be like their level of appreciation and their knowledge level.
Yeah.
And being able to get paid for that fucking level of appreciation. Smith was asked about what he thought about Kelly, and Smith said, and this was 2015-ish, so decade and a half after it came out. He's like, Richard Kelly is somebody who
15 years,
should be somewhere around the appreciation level as James Cameron. The way he can build a world.
He relates him to James Cameron?
Yeah, the way he's like the independent film version of James Cameron.
Which is wondering,
he can build a world that just immerses you and makes you question what's going on.
When did Southland Tales come out? I'm just curious. Hold on.
I know, like 2000s, like 2006, 2008, somewhere around there.
2006, yeah. So 2000. So you got Donnie Darko 2001.
So everything came out prior to 2010. Let's say. So Donnie Darko came out. Everybody fucking said, "This guy's amazing. Let's let him fucking run." And they gave him a couple films.
Kind of reminds me of Terrence Malick, because Terrence Malick is he did 2 films in the 70s. Then he didn't do one until 1999, which was or 98, which was The Thin Red Line.
Yep.
Then all of a sudden he did another film like 4 or 5 years later, 2005, The New World. I actually am a big fan of Terrence Malick. My wife Sammy she watched Tree of Life with me, and she about wanted to kill me. She hated it so much because she thought it was the most boring piece of shit ever. I thought, this is artistic as great. I like boring artistic movies. That's what I mean. I I enjoy cinema. I enjoy trying out directors' visions. And Terrence Malick is more of a visionary director more than a dialogue. He's more of a narration type of thing. You've seen most of his movies. I don't know if you know who Terrence Malick is. But that's the funny thing about Richard Kelly is Terrence Malick has done films very spread apart. And he's only done, when did Box come out?
2008, 2009.
Okay, so he's done 3 films in like almost like a 4 or 5 period.
He directed 3 films. He wrote another film.
So I mean, his next movie might be the follow up to Donnie Darko, which is
maybe that's a huge gap
if that ever happens. I mean, I'm sure fans are because there's a lot of fans of this movie. This is a cult classic.
See, I don't know what I would want if I don't know if I'd want a direct sequel. Even though it'd be from Richard Kelly, I don't know if I'd run a direct sequel because I feel like this is a perfect self-contained
by itself movie. You don't think it needs a sequel?
It doesn't. I really don't see where a sequel will build upon the story.
Because fans demand it. Because fans like, we want a sequel. We want a sequel.
Now, if they want to build something in the Darko universe where it's delving into something similar, and another tangent universe is being built and weird shit and another person coming into acceptance of what's going on and their weirdness and shit like that, that'd be fine.
Yeah, but
it'd be a spiritual sequel to Darko.
I think what fans want is they want Gyllenhaal to come back somehow in some type of form.
As what?
But maybe that will explain.
As the new Frank?
No,
I mean, what?
Technically, that could happen because Frank wasn't Ghost.
He could, but
I don't think it's going to happen.
Exactly.
But I mean, I'm sure that's what fans want. They want, unless they really want a side story with one of the other characters.
No, I don't necessarily need the same characters. It could just fit in the same rule existing universe that Kelly had created,
right?
And it doesn't have to be in the same time frame, or this has to be in the same universe where these random tangent universes are created because of a weird situation, and follows a character in this weird universe that has to navigate their way through this.
Interesting. Okay.
And go from there and try to figure out how they may handle their tangent universe, and try to correct it before the black hole comes, and erases everything. Which says that you could create a series of stories in the universe without taking away from Donnie.
I think they should leave it alone.
I
in my opinion,
that's why I think nothing's gotten off the ground in 20 fucking years.
Exactly. I don't like the movie.
Goddamn 25 fucking years almost.
Yeah,
it's a goddamn quarter century.
Yeah, I know. That shows how old we are. There's a lot of movies. Dude, there's fucking movies that came out in the fucking early 90s. It's almost 30 years old.
Yeah.
It's fucking crazy.
But this is why... Okay, you say early 90s is almost 30 years old. No, anything that came out in the early 90s is at least 30 years old.
It's actually almost 40. 90, 30, 35 years. All right, well, close to 40. But a lot of movies I grew up with were in the late 80s. So in a way, those are almost 40 years old.
Yeah,
right there.
100%.
Yeah.
That's what I really do think Kelly, unless you're going to be retelling the story of Donnie Darko with a new actor, a new
like a
budget,
reboot? Like a reboot?
Potentially. That's the only way I would even entertain it.
I don't even like the movie. I don't even want them to do that. I think they should just leave it the way it is. I mean, I can understand why this movie is a cult classic. I can understand why people like it. I understand why, so
you can understand why people like it.
Because of the dark themes. There's something different that they didn't do before.
Right.
This has actually introduced a lot of darkness in movies that are not in a lot of movies in the future. That a lot of movies.
No, I would say movies before this.
No, with the dark
a lot
tone.
Of movies before this, dark tones.
No, with the dark tones like this, and also like the character that is like almost
an anti-hero.
Okay, yeah, you might have a point there. I just feel like this introduced a little bit of difference in Hollywood with movies.
What year did Dark City come out?
Dark City came out in 1995, I believe.
Well, there you go then.
Yeah.
All right. Like I said, Dark City, right to me, that's
a great movie.
It is.
Yeah.
Amazing film. But I'm saying, if you just to use your argument of dark tones and stuff like that, to me is like much
dark tones,
everything you're saying to the umpteenth level.
Yes, it's dark, but it's more of a sci-fi. Would you call this a sci-fi?
Depending on how you're interpreting it.
Because I've seen the genre for this movie. When it shows, it says sci-fi.
But also, it could be dark comedy. All right, it could be horror.
See it as a comedy.
It could, yeah. Dark
horror,
comedy,
maybe
dark comedy. You don't think this could be dark comedy elements to it?
It has comedic parts, but I don't see it as a genre as dark comedy. Maybe not even horror either. I don't know.
So
what
if you go to Prime right now,
I would put this in. I would put this in
go to
sci-fi.
Prime right now. You pull up Donnie Darko. I believe one of the first recommendations
is dark comedy,
quirky comedies.
There's a genre called quirky comedy.
Yeah.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah.
I see this as a sci-fi, especially with the time travel.
But that's how you're interpreting it as.
Okay. Well,
that's what I'm saying. There's so many ways to potentially interpret this, and depending on how you are interpreting it, will explain your enjoyment level of it.
I can't believe there's a quirky comedy genre.
Yeah, 100%.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, I know a lot of quirky comedies, but I see this as slightly comedic.
You just said you know a lot of quirky comedies, and how can you say there's not a quirky comedy
Because I've
genre?
never seen the thing, quirky comedy.
Yeah.
If that's on Amazon, that must be the only thing, because it's not on Apple TV or other things.
Oh, maybe on...
yeah, I've never seen quirky comedy. I've seen comedy or dark comedy, but I've never seen quirky comedy. Wow.
Quirky comedy movies. What We Do in the Shadows is a quirky comedy.
Yes.
It's not over-the-top humor, but it's
a lot more
Budapest
comedic.
Hotel.
I feel like What We Do in the Shadows is a lot more comedic than Donnie Darko.
The Dead Don't Die. Oh, yeah, no.
The Dead Don't Die is more of a dry comedy.
But they have it as quirky comedy. Blades of Glory is apparently a quirky comedy.
No.
I'm telling you what Google says. That's all I'm saying. Hot Fuzz.
So any of the Will Ferrell movies is going to be a quirky comedy, most
Not
likely.
all of them.
Like Anchorman or something like that.
Popular quirky comedy movies. Best in Show, Bridesmaids, Dumb and Dumber, Napoleon Dynamite. Napoleon Dynamite is a quirky comedy.
That is a very quirky comedy.
Yes.
It's a great movie, though. It's fun. It's fun. It's an out there movie.
The Lobster.
Yes.
Oh, that is so fucking weird.
The director of The Lobster also did The Favorite.
Big Lebowski.
That's not a quirky comedy.
Oh, are you sure?
Think
about it.
I see that more as a comedy.
Really?
I don't see that as
Is there
quirky.
is there a lot of jokes? Actually, like
there's a lot of
jokes, like slap you in the fucking
to
side.
me, there is. I mean,
but it's not told as jokes. They're told as fucking weird situations. You're like, oh my god, this is so fucking awkward.
That's like my favorite comedy in the world. I love that movie.
But if you think about it, it's not like it's not like
okay. So what would you call Ed Wood?
Ooh. That is
like a biography comedy. I mean, I don't. That's quirky. Any Tim Burton movie can be
quirky comedy. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I would say it because it's based on a true situation, so it's biographical,
but it's got
biographic.
Biographic, yeah.
Biographical. I don't know
biographic.
Anymore. But
biographical.
It's something that is a biographic. It'd be biographical,
I guess. I don't know. Biography
Words are
comedy.
All right.
At least it's not me. It's just it's also you too. So
no, so there is humor. There is comedy built into Donnie Darko. But it's more the comedy and the humor of the teen angst, the weird shit. So
in the comedy scenes, there seems more of like real life comedy
where they're at the bus stop. All right.
With them talking on the to the kid.
And then just talking to the chick. All right.
But that's like, everyday life.
I hope you get molested.
I can see teenagers doing that.
Yes. But that is fucking amazing comedy right there.
It is, but I don't call it quirky. I don't call it quirky. I see that as more of. I'm sorry, but teenagers act like that. Well, at least when we were.
They do, and that's why it's amazing. It's because it's so fucking out there.
So I see it more real than more of a quirkiness. I don't know,
but it's not like telling a joke or slapstick humor or something there. It's just like, God, I hope you get molested. All right, it's just fucking out there.
Yeah,
it's like, God damn,
it is.
All right.
Wow, so much discussion on this movie. I was not expecting. Well, I was expecting the discussion that we were having on this movie. This is going to be interesting. So,
all right. So we talked about cinematography. We talked about the acting. Let's get back into the music.
I thought the music was good.
Yeah, I thought the soundtrack fucking hit.
The one thing I loved about the ending was that track when it's showing all the side cameras. The Mad World was a great song, which a lot of people relate to this movie, of course. But the thing is that it played so perfectly well because it's a mad world, and you see all these people on the camera going side to side, showing everybody waking up, which I thought that's why I kept thinking it was a dream. But my opinion might have changed. So I'll bring it up in our pint reviews. But the thing is that the music was great. I thought that the 80s music was interesting.
Because it was set in the 80s?
Yeah, which 1988, I believe. Yeah, which I wouldn't have never thought until it said that on the little calendar dates that it had between the movie for basically almost like the Act 1, Act 2, Act 3 or something like that.
So the reason that they were all in uniforms in school is they didn't have the budget to costume everybody in 1980 style.
See, I thought it was like a Catholic school or something like that.
That their answer to the whole thing of we don't have the budget to make everybody dress like it's 1980s is fuck it. We'll make everybody dress the same in school and fucking simple. Fucking a white shirt, fucking slacks. It's a cheap way to take out the time frame.
Good, because I didn't see any 80s haircuts or anything like that. It did not look like the 80s to me.
But it didn't need to be anything. Oh, it was late 80s, first off. Late 80s.
Still did not look like late 80s.
Also, if you were in a uniform-based school, they wouldn't allow a lot of ridiculous haircuts, or you weren't seeing a lot of, fucking flock of seagulls hair in a fucking, a uniform-based
no
school.
Shoulder pads or like that. Yeah.
Everything was going to have to be down the line. All right. Simple. Shit, and no weird hair colors or anything like that. So it's a great explanation of way to keep everything in the 80s. They were talking about Reagan and Dukakis and Bush, running and everything like that.
Yeah.
So it was set in the 80s because that's what the director knew. He grew up in the fucking late 80s of this weird situation where you had these McMansions, but then you also had people that were separated because you didn't know where society was at the time. Right. People had money and were expected to buy these things, but didn't know how to interact with the family anymore.
Yeah.
And that's what he showed. He showed heavily and throughout the film.
No, I thought it looked fine. Like I said, when it said the 80s, it didn't see it, but the fact that it was all based on budget to make it look like it was the 80s because he
wrote it to be in the 80s.
Yeah, but they
used the budget to try to sell it as the 80s.
Yeah, and it didn't seem like the 80s to me. But you didn't see no cell phones, you didn't see stuff like that and everything else. But still, early 2000s cell phones weren't really as big yet. I mean, other than the brick
early
phones.
2000s, we all had.
We had
a
brick
lot of us had
phones,
cell phones.
Nokia brick phones.
Yeah, we didn't have a lot of smartphones. But we had cell phones, we had beepers and stuff like that. No, none of that was prevalent.
Yeah. I had a beeper, and I think my first smartphone was like a BlackBerry Storm or something like that.
I had BlackBerry Storm. I remember that one.
I had that. I had that for like a half a year or something like that. I remember that. It was when I was working at your same old job.
All right. So we talked about the sound. We talked about the cinematography.
The soundtrack.
The acting.
Yeah.
We talked a little bit about the special effects, which weren't much.
We talked about the plots, but
the practical effects I think were good. The jet engine coming through the house.
Yeah, no, I really like the vision of the storm when he's sitting on the car, on the hood of the car, and he's looking at the storm in the sky. I thought that was
with
really
the fucking
well.
dead girlfriend just fucking sitting in the car.
Yeah.
God damn, that was fucking like fuck. This motherfucker just driving around. With
that was weak, but that kind of reached me because I completely forgot that she gets to run over like that. Yeah. I did not know about that.
Because Seth motherfucking Rogen.
Yeah.
Just throwing her on the fucking ground, leaving her ass there.
Fat Rogen, too. He's all skinny now.
Yeah. So, what did you think about the writing?
See, I think I will get that. I will get to that in my pint reviews because I think that's what's going to raise something up.
Okay.
But I thought the writing was interesting. It was confusing at first. I think this is one of those movies that you cannot watch in one sitting. I think you need to watch some multiple sittings.
I think you watch it, you digest it, you think about it, and start thinking about whatever your theory is.
Yeah.
Then rewatch it and see if your theory is supported by what's on film.
And the thing is, in the movie, how long this movie's been out, I've only seen it 3 times. I've seen it the first time I bought it, then the second time I bought it again, got rid of it, then this time for the show, and now watching it a third time, there's things I don't remember when I watched it the second time. So I kept saying to myself watching this, like, God, why do people like this movie? This movie sucks. I'm not a fan of it. Oh, that was interesting. Oh, that was interesting. Like there's scenes.
You are colored, I think, by your idea of when you originally watched it. And I will say, so the most complaints I've heard about this film. So most of the people that I talk to and I read reviews on enjoy this film. They really enjoy the ambiguity of this film, the weirdness it gives you, everything about this film they enjoy. But there is a small, like 1 out of 5, let's say, think this is boring or horseshit or confusing because they aren't understanding. This isn't a movie that is giving you answers.
But
it's
that's
a
the
movie
thing.
that's giving you questions.
But that's the thing. When I say it's boring, is that I watch a lot of movies that other people found extremely boring. Like David Lynch, there's a lot of movies in there that just like Eraserhead.
People found Eraserhead boring?
There's some scenes in there that just like it's just like a mindless noise and everything else that people would find. I have an issue.
No,
with
I'm
that.
just trying to figure out. I can
Some
understand people
people
not
would find
liking it.
That's
They
what I'm
might
saying.
think it's crap, but I wouldn't say they would find it boring.
But no. Other people find also movies with Oliver Stone, like because the over dialogue.
Yeah, the dialogue heavy.
But I enjoy that. I enjoy Nixon. I enjoy JFK. I enjoy those movies. I enjoy the dialogue. But there's some things that are extremely boring that I like that people hate. This to me is people like. I'm not a fan of.
Mm-hmm.
It just for some reason did not reach out to me as much. I enjoyed the acting. The acting was great. The special effects. Even the characters. Frank was an interesting character. I like some mysteries. There's it all varies.
where they expect you to think and try to put it together, not ones that they necessarily spoon feed you the answer. Like, okay, he did it, and this is why and how he did it, and they go through the fucking, the thing and refocus on every clue they gave you.
There's mysteries I do like. I'm just trying to think of some that I like where you basically like sitting like, I wonder what this and stuff like that. Name some mysteries. Zodiac is a mystery in my opinion.
Zodiac is a mystery, and it's kind of open ended. It is kind of open ended.
Love that movie.
It is amazing.
It's
super dialogue heavy.
Yes,
and super. A lot of people did find Zodiac boring. A lot of people did because of how dialogue heavy it is and lack of action throughout the film. It does build a great sense of tenseness and emotional connectivity, but there is a lot going on in between action sets.
That's the funny thing about the movie because that's actually one of my number one favorite David Fincher films.
I agree. It is a great film, but you can also understand why a lot of people may say that's boring.
But
imagine somebody who is reliant upon action films sitting through Zodiac.
No, I can understand that. Yeah. It's more of a dialogue-driven film. It's also very mystery, very detective style. Yes. A lot of detective files, looking things up and everything else, and detectives interviewing the culprits who they think could be the Zodiac and stuff like that. I found it intriguing. I enjoyed it. I thought it was very well done. I thought the visual, the dialogue, everything about that movie was great. So there are mystery films that I love, and dialogue-ridden movies. I actually enjoy dialogue. That's why I love Tarantino. Tarantino is the king of dialogue.
Knives Out, Glass Onion.
Huh?
Knives Out, Glass Onion.
Knives Out, I've seen. Glass Onion, I've never seen. But Knives Out, I actually thought it was okay. It was good. It wasn't bad. I'd watch it again. I enjoyed it. It was almost like a clue for adults in a way.
Yeah.
And also the Murder in the Orient Express, I believe. Yes. But there's even other movies. I just can't recall the name. My mind is.
I'm just trying to figure out popular.
But to me, I can't see this as a mystery.
That's kind of what it is, though. If you think about it, it's a mystery.
See it more of as I know this be a weird genre, but I think this is more of a mind fuck.
It is a mind fuck. Yes,
that's how I feel it is.
But it's a mystery trying to figure out the mind fuck. You are trying to figure out the reason for the mind fuck,
right?
Because depending on where you fall on the explanations, there is a legit explanation throughout the whole fucking film. It's up to you to figure it out and put the clues together. They don't hand feed you the answer.
Yeah,
they're like, all right, all of this happened and it led to this, and the reason why it happened is in the film.
Yeah,
it's up to you to figure out why.
Right.
Then it makes you sit there and think about it.
That's why I feel like this is one of those movies that requires multiple viewings.
I agree.
And I want to watch.
I think you have to watch it. Don't be put off it by the first time by not getting it. Watch it and understand you are not going to be given the answer. It's up to you to figure out the answer. I think if you watch it and you're like, okay, this is bullshit because I don't know what the fuck's going on because they didn't tell me at the end of what was going on.
Right.
Then you're going to be locked in that mindset. And I think that most people that I've talked to have been locked in that mindset because like, I didn't fucking get it. Okay, yeah, you're right. You didn't get it. But watch it again. Try to figure it out. Spend some time.
Give me that bubblegum one.
Okay.
I never had a grab.
You were just
something yummy.
reaching for something. I'm like, I don't know what you're reaching for over here.
I never had a grab
Are you
something.
reaching for the dick?
No, I never had to grab something yummy. I needed to drink.
Oh,
one.
yeah.
Yeah, so.
If you go in the mindset that you are not going to know what happened, and it's up to you to figure it out. We're not going to tell you, yes, you're right, or no, you're wrong.
Right.
It's up to you to figure it out and then be happy with your explanation.
Okay.
That's what this movie is.
Okay.
And I appreciate that about this film. And that's why different people believe different things are the truth. And they all love the film.
Yeah.
They all enjoy the film, even though they may all interpret the film
Have you met anybody that didn't like the film?
Other than me. Your wife, Sammy. All right. There are people, but I will say the majority of people like this film. The vast majority of people, let's say 4 out of 5.
I like things in this film. I just don't like the film altogether.
Which is fine.
There's things and maybe that I can be appreciative of how it was made. That's why I think something needs to be raised a little bit. And I will, like I said, when we get our reviews.
Can you do this for me? Now that you have these different theories in mind, besides just the dream theory, can you rewatch the film
with
whatever
different
theory
opinion?
you think may be the truth?
No, that's what I want to do.
And then start trying to pick out
but I want to watch
supporting reasons.
Yes, I want to do that, but I want to watch the theatrical edition. I want to watch it without because apparently you said that's the better version of watch.
The theatrical one allows you to figure out the answer that best suits you.
Yeah.
And then the director's one is just what the answer that the director says what he thinks may be the truth, but he admits may not be the truth.
Right.
It's just what he imagines could explain everything.
Yeah, I'll rewatch. I'll rewatch it. Just the thing is, I want to. I have a different opinion of what I think the theory, different theory now. Which the theories that you gave, because I think you gave about 4 theories that we went through. Was it 5?
So you had the dream, the psychosis, time travel, the Christ, and the overarching, all united. That's 5.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I missed that one.
All right. So do you got anything else you want to hit on? Because I've been talking like 95% of this.
Hey, I've been doing some talking. I've been having my opinions. The thing is, no, I think we've covered pretty much everything about this movie. I think that my opinions have changed.
Good.
But
I do feel like it's my job in this episode to sell this movie to you and to the audience.
Yes,
that may not appreciate this.
But still, like the thing is, I will give the idea of, or I'll give the fact that I will rewatch this. I will rewatch this theatrical edition, have a different open mind, especially about the theories that we talked about. But the fact is, it's still not an enjoy. It's not going to be like I'm going to go watch this like all the time, like once a year or something like that. This is a very like. I even said to myself, this is the one and done after watching it again. But I want to watch it with that open mind as we talked about it. So it might change my opinion, but I don't know. It's still not going to be better than other films. There's other films that are a whole lot better than this, in my opinion, that are think pieces that are, would you say, mystery or a mind fuck? I mean, there's a lot of things to put quirky comedy.
All right, so the film that kept popping up in my head as I'm rewatching this, and I don't know, I can't put my finger on exactly why I'm just linking this to my head. So let's go back in our history to where we gave birth to the critical idea of a film versus just enjoyment.
Oh, I'm trying to remember which one that was.
Robin Williams.
What Dreams May Come?
No.
What Dream? Oh, 1 Hour Photo. Yeah. I don't think it came on that one though.
But that's where
we were talking about it.
Yeah, I think that's where it gave birth to the idea.
Yeah.
Where we feel the need.
Because you felt that was a perfect
for
film.
separate separate ratings,
which we didn't give separate ratings for that movie.
But that's where we gave birth to the idea.
Which I'm curious if your ratings would be different for that one. It wouldn't be a 5.5.
It wouldn't be a 5.5. No.
Okay, so okay,
exactly. That's what I'm saying. I think this, it feels like to me, because we just talked about acting was great in this one,
right?
Cinematography, was really well done in this one.
Yeah.
The special effects can't take nothing away. The soundtrack can't fucking take nothing away from it.
Although you did do a little cross on the act, one of the bullies. Thought that his acting was a little off.
But I'm saying for the most part, I mean, there's lots of things that we're each individual thing that we're pointing at.
That's why I think you're going to be shocked at my reviews.
You can't tear it apart on the critical side. You're like, fuck.
Yeah.
But enjoyment side, just because the subject matter or whatever may emotionally weigh on you,
right?
Or you may not find enthralling. All right, you can't take away from understanding why critically why it's really well done fucking film.
That's why I think that I'll shock you with my ratings.
Okay.
I think
I'm looking forward to it. So I will actually let you start because once again, we know my ratings are going to be high because the whole point of this episode is movies one person loves, versus one person hates.
Yeah. And do I hate this movie now? That's the question.
That is the question.
That's the
been
question.
My job this entire time is I am selling this movie to you.
Do I like this movie? No. Do I dislike this movie? I think I can get away from disliking it, but I have an open mind about it. I need to watch it again, which is weird because we're not going to do another episode about it. But maybe down the road I can say something.
You can reference it.
Yeah, reference it or something like that. But
maybe on the next episode we do.
Yeah, which we will tease here at the end what we're going to be doing next. I think it's going to be a fun one. But before I go into, are we doing part reviews now?
Yeah.
Before I go into my pint reviews, my theory that I think is the Christ theory. I think the Christ theory is the one that I would pick. I thought it was the dream theory because that's what it felt like. I felt like the whole thing was a big dream, but the way that we talked about it, about you discussing the whole relations to Christ, the Mary Magdalene and everything, it fits perfectly. I don't know and the thing is, the director had no intention of that. He just wrote what the viewer would see. So it's really interesting. Maybe he was like a voice from God was talking to him. I don't know. I'm probably going out of my head by saying that, but it was just
who knows?
Yeah, you never know.
Where does creativity come from? I mean, if not from God, directly or indirectly, where does it come from?
It comes from God. So, altogether, my pint reviews. I'll go with my enjoyment first.
Okay.
My enjoyment for this movie, you're going to be shocked at this, is a 2.5.
You know what? I will fucking take that.
Yeah.
I will take that.
I will go with a 2.5.
All right.
Anything under a 3 is usually not as good. 3 and up is bad. This is there's still some parts I enjoyed to it. I enjoyed Frank. I enjoyed some of the dark tones here, but it just wasn't my film. It's not something I'd watch over and over again. It's not my type of film. But critically, this movie is really well done with the writing. It makes you think. When a movie makes you think, it's just like,
Exactly.
Yeah, I might have to watch
whether you love it or hate it. If a movie makes you fucking feel something, it did its job.
Yes.
That's the entire fucking point of films, and I've said that since episode 1.
Yeah.
All right, season 1. That's what fucking films are here for.
Yes.
They are here to make you feel something.
Yes. And
all
that's
right?
why
And this did.
Yeah,
this
it
made you feel.
And it makes me feel even more, especially with the theories that we talked about. And the thing is, these theories could be fan theories. They could be in the direct. I mean, it's all kinds of things. But the thing is, they really show, especially that Christ theory. That really gets to me right there. It's like, wow, it's like almost like a modern Christ, like sacrificing himself, all these people to help all these people and everything else, and laughing about it, like, just like he's on the cross and he's like, it fits perfectly. So I would have to go with critical. This is going to be, it went up. I'll give a critical of a 4.
God damn, yeah.
But the enjoyment's still going to be a 2.5.
I'll fucking take
because
it.
Because I can't see, I will watch this again. I want to watch this again with an open eye and everything else. But critically, it is a well done movie. The acting is great. The story really makes you just wonder and ponder, like, what the fuck? And there is a lot of what the fuck moments. I mean, I was watching this movie, I was like, what the fuck? why? Okay, what? All right, all right. You know, like, and I was enjoying some of the characters. I enjoyed Frank, even though he's really not a big character. He's a ghost and everything else, but I enjoyed the voice that he gave. The special effects with him talking to Donnie Darko, which, by the way, Donnie Darko was a cool name. I'm not gonna lie. I thought
they even address it. It sounds like a fucking superhero.
Yeah,
who says I'm not
Donnie Darko.
Right.
That was a good
He's
line
a savior.
with him and the kid.
He is a savior.
Or him and the girlfriend.
Yeah.
But no, I will give this a 4. It's as high as I can go. Originally, it was going to be a.
No, I will fucking take that to a bank.
Originally, it was a 2.5. And my enjoyment was.
God damn, I went up way a motherfucker.
But I think it's because of the discussion. That's why my enjoyment's not going to go up, but my critical is going up because I feel like the discussion and everything else, it makes you think and it makes me want to watch it again. So, yeah. So,
it'll really make you mad when I say it's like a fucking 1-1 for me, right?
A 1-1? No, I'm going by. I'm seriously going by what I think. I raised my critical up because my critical was a lot lower. I raised my critical up, but then the enjoyment, I can't move.
No, I'm still fucking goddamn extremely ecstatic with that. That's what's an average of a 3.25 between the two of them. I will fucking take that.
You should have seen Chase when I gave the review for Treasure Planet. He got so happy because I gave it a higher rating than I thought it would be because I actually thought it was okay and everything, and he was just like, "Man, I wasn't expecting this. You may almost make me cry." Like he was happy I gave a higher review because I thought it was the character.
Treasure Planet's a fun movie.
I enjoyed Long John Silver. I thought he was great. Check out that episode, Treasure Planet, of our animated series.
Sorry, I couldn't be a part of that one.
No, that was fun. That was a fun episode. Cars was great. The whole animated series. It
was a good time.
I thought that was a good series.
It was an interesting experiment for us to do as grown ass fucking men
talking about animated movies.
Yeah, basically kids movies, and that's what they all boil down to.
Other than mine was more of adult, but
I mean, it's still kids,
teenager. We were teens.
It was fucking kids. It was fucking preteens.
Yeah,
and early teenagers is what it's fucking meant for.
Yeah,
it's still fucking kids. If a fucking 13-year-old fucking starts talking shit to me, I'm like, you're a child. All right. I mean,
it was enjoyable. I thought this was a fun series. I always look forward to our spring because it's kind of like a tradition
where
every spring.
We experiment, and it makes us. It puts us in a box, but it's like, all right, how much fun can I have in this box, in this limitations that I'm doing?
Yeah.
All right, and I don't think it fails to disappoint. I really don't. I think each of our spring series have come out really fucking well.
The black and white series is one of my favorites.
That was fun. The War movies were really fucking good.
The War is Hell series? Yeah, the War is Hell series we did. Good. And next year is our foreign series, which is going to be fun.
Damn foreigners.
So, all right, but yeah, that's mine. So what is yours?
All right. I'm going to go ahead and start with critical.
What's your theory first?
My theory is a unifying theory. I think
so. You go for the last one.
Yeah,
okay.
I do think it's all of it. He was the Christ-like figure in the tangent universe. That he woke up from a dream of psychosis. I mean, it all the boxes are checked with the unifying theory,
right?
And I think with that mindset, while you're watching through it, then it's like, okay, he became the Christ figure of the tangent universe, which made him a Christ figure of the main universe.
Yeah.
And since the tangent universe no longer existed, it was as if it was all in a dream, which why everybody woke up and be like, whoa.
Yeah.
Because it was all in a dream. But he fought getting into that point through his psychosis that he had in order to get on the other side of it.
Yeah.
So I think it all worked out well with the unifying theory.
Okay. Okay.
And I'm a big supporter of that. But it took me a while to get there over the years. You know, like it's been 24 years almost since I first.
How many times have you seen this movie? Because I said 3. I'm sure you've seen it multiple times more than that.
I brought it with me to St. Rocks. Fuck times over there. God damn, a fuckload times over there.
So you've probably seen it about 10 or 12 times?
Oh no, probably close to like 50 50, 60 times.
Oh shit. Okay. Then you're way over me. You're way over me.
Okay.
So you definitely analyzed this movie.
You have to really put in them, and I've talked it over with a lot of people.
Yeah.
Because like I said, I brought it with me as one of my films over to the sandbox, and you only have a limited number of films.
Yeah.
And everybody only has a limited number of films, so you're all watching or rewatching the same fucking shit over and over and over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And you're just sitting around bullshitting, and you're watching it with your buddies, and they're coming up with their ideas, and you're discussing shit. So you're getting different input and different viewpoints, which thereby shapes your viewpoints and shit like that. And we were all late teens, early 20s.
Yeah.
And shit like that. So we were still in the right age frame where it kind of rang true to us.
Yeah.
When we did it. And then it's built in a true deep appreciation.
Okay.
To do it to me. Because it's something that makes you think, it makes you go, huh. And then as you rewatch it, you start thinking different ways, and they all picking up the breadcrumbs that they lay out throughout the film. You're like, God damn, this is really fucking smart.
Yeah.
Or holy shit, this dude is a fucking moron who fell in bass backwards to the goddamn lottery. All right, this is autistic motherfucker somehow goddamn figured it out.
Yeah.
And that's what it felt like. Is this guy is way fucking smarter by this guy I meant Richard Kelly, the writer director of the film, or he's just a fucking moron who stumbled across gold.
Yeah.
And that's why I appreciate this film more than I appreciate any of his other sequel films or follow-ups or anything like that, just because I think this is lightning in a bottle.
Okay.
All right. It is. He'll never recapture this, which is why I don't want him to do a sequel. I don't want him to do a
just leave it alone
or a reboot. Just leave it alone. Just leave it alone. It is perfect the way it is. It fits the right frame of mind. He wanted to do something in the 80s and early 2000s. Nobody was doing anything in the 80s at the time, which is a throwback time period. And I'm like, that fit fucking right.
Right.
It felt like Virginia, which is what he knew.
Yeah.
It felt like growing up in Virginia. I'm like, this guy fucking nailed everything he does.
Yeah.
So critical. I'm gonna go ahead and like 4 3/4.
Okay. Okay.
Very little. Like I said, I talked about some of the acting could have been a little bit better.
Yeah.
But most of it was fucking on point. The writing, I thought, was, whether intentional or unintentional, it was fucking genius. It was perfect.
Yeah.
It told the teenage angst. It also told a really great mystery. I don't think anything was unneeded, and I don't think I needed any more. I think it was tight. It was to the point. The special effects, as non-existent as they were, the blend of practical effects with the engine going through the house, and you felt it when it went through that fucking house. You felt it when it landed in front of the fucking the TV room.
Oh, when the father was looking at the fucking shelf and it just like shaked and everything.
Yeah, you felt it. You felt it.
Yeah.
The Maggie Gyllenhaal, the sister character, just coming in after being on a fuck date with her fucking boyfriend and shit like that, and then being happy, and then the shit fucking shaking the house and her just fucking crumpling by the fucking door out of fucking fear, not knowing what's going on. I'm like, yeah, that's real. That's real. So there's very, very little that you could change about this movie, I think, critically.
It's a 4 3/4.
Yeah.
So almost a 5.
Almost a 5.
Okay.
Very little changes.
Okay.
And I think part of the acting was the low budget. You couldn't afford to nail everybody.
Right.
Unfortunately, you just can't. Seth Rogen, as little as he got paid, I'm sure, I thought he did fucking amazing.
Hey, he played a good bully. He played a good bully. Yep. Fat bully. Yeah.
I thought he did fucking perfect. Much better than the other bully. All right. I really fucking do. But I think everybody nailed fucking perfectly.
Okay.
Even the little fucking kid, during Patrick Swayze's fucking scene where he's like, I want to learn how to fight. I'm like, I recognize that kid. I know that fucking kid.
Come up and stand here on stage.
That kid absolutely is getting his ass fucking bullied. All right. And he wants to learn how to fucking stand up for himself, which Donnie Darko calls out.
Yes.
He's like, you're tired of fucking getting swirlies. Fucking goddamn lift some weights. And if that doesn't work, hit him in the fucking dick. All right. I'm like, yes.
Believe it or not, that was one of my favorite scenes of the movie. Next to seeing all the scenes with Frank is the scene when he calls him out, the pedophile guy. I thought when he went up on there, I was like, oh man, what is he going to say? Like I was already waiting for something because he was very blunt and very open about what he was going to say about things, his opinion about things, especially with the whole bunny with Drew Barrymore, which we didn't really talk about Drew Barrymore that much.
I think she did really
she
well
did good.
acting.
That part where she got fired and she just went outside and said, fuck!
And they had that fucking girl just fucking sitting there.
Just looking at her, yeah.
And it felt real.
Yeah,
everything felt fucking
real.
real.
One of the best. It was one of Drew Barrymore's best acting roles, in my opinion. And she paid more.
It was small, and it was just fucking a throwaway character.
Yeah,
but
that's why I would give high regards
she
to
did
this
really
movie.
well.
Yeah.
So enjoyment, I will have to give this a 4.5. I'll give this 4.5.
That's
it's
high.
strong. I know.
That's high.
Just because it doesn't spoon feed me. It doesn't. It respects my intelligence and allows me, as I age and in different mindsets, to appreciate different things and interpret the story in different ways.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that. And I think it takes a lot of skill. It takes a lot of skill to do that. It's something that is a snapshot of a time, but then also feel timeless and allows you to rewatch it multiple times and appreciate it at different levels. And I think that's really well done.
I'm gonna give it a chance. I'm gonna give it another chance. I want to watch that.
Go in, like I said, just pick whatever theory that you think is the best explanation and look for the breadcrumbs that are laid out for you.
Yeah.
And see if you can appreciate, like, goddamn, this actually makes fucking sense.
Yeah.
Fuck.
It's still a mind fuck.
It is.
It's still
100%.
a mind fuck. Yeah. It's
100%.
Because there's times where you're like looking at the screen, like just taking your finger to your head is like, what the okay. What the fuck? Like that happened quite a lot when I was watching it. I was just like, I'm trying to, but then the whole time travel thing, and then there was a lot of different things all throughout this movie. And I really enjoyed the teacher, by the way. I thought the teacher, especially with that whole thing.
The Drew Barrymore or the science teacher?
No, the science teacher. Okay. In fact, we had a clip and we didn't play it because I don't think we needed it. We actually talked about it.
It was like a 3.5 minutes of him explaining time travel and explaining destiny.
Yeah.
Which Noah Weil did really well at.
Yeah.
But I think it would have slowed down our discussion.
Yeah. Which, in a way, this was fun.
It was.
I really enjoyed this because it gave me a different eye, different
and for
view
a
of this movie.
that you said,
I cannot
the whole point of this movie, this episode was movies that one of us love and the other hates.
Yes.
And for you to average out a 3.25,
I give it a 3.25. Give it a 2.5. For enjoyment and critical.
Yeah,
maxed
That's
out.
a 3.25.
Okay. I see.
That's a 3.25.
Yeah. Okay. I see what you're saying.
Which means that is in the realm past the beginning realm of
anything above a 3. Anything above a 3 is good. I think everybody should have an open view to watch this movie. I think everybody should be open to watch it and try it out.
I do suggest watching the theatrical, coming up with your theory.
See, I think that's my problem is I watched the director's cut first. Yeah. So if you're saying the theatrical cut was more of a better view to watch to get an idea because he kind of added those just for the viewership.
Yeah.
I will watch the theatrical cut, but altogether, no, it was still not my favorite movie. There's other better movies out there.
It's on Prime, so it won't cost you fucking anything.
Yeah.
You have Prime.
Yeah, of course.
Which, by the way, I just fucking broke down and bought fucking YouTube Premium.
I've had YouTube Premium for like
God
years.
damn it. I've been fighting that $14 a month.
It's 18. Or how much? Is 14?
For a single. Now you can do a family.
Guess
for
how much I'm
$20
paying for it?
Huh.
$10.
How?
Through Verizon. Verizon's got a deal. They have a Verizon. Yeah, that's because originally I was paying.
I might check that shit out.
Yeah, I was originally paying like $15 or $16 for it.
Yeah.
And then Verizon came out with this thing where a package where it's just $10. That's why I'm paying Apple TV. I'm paying $20 for Apple TV, Apple Music, and Apple Arcade. $20 a month. Mm-hmm. So I have all 3 of those features. So me, Sammy, the kids are all available to all of Apple Music, every music out there.
But here's the problem that I'm already seeing with YouTube Premium. So I watch YouTube, Netflix, Prime, Hulu. I watch Peacock, Paramount.
Yeah.
That's what I watch. I don't watch TV. All right, this is the shit I watch.
I like YouTube,
but I've relied on YouTube. That was the last thing that I've watched that had commercials to introduce me to shit that's coming out. All right, so now that I've finally broken down and subscribed to YouTube Premium, I'm like, this is amazing. Not having these bullshit commercials.
Yep,
but also, fuck, I'm not going to see commercials. I'm not going to know about shit. Fuck me. Like. I probably would not have known about the upcoming Final Destination if it wasn't because of a preview I saw on YouTube. All right. So I've been like, oh, fuck.
Yeah. But the thing about YouTube Premium is that you don't have the commercials. And it's also, amazing. I use it because I use it for our show. Yeah. Also, our show's on YouTube. You're watching us on YouTube. You better like us. Subscribe. But
which
seriously,
they should give us to us for free.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely.
If we're providing a channel with views, they should give us the goddamn premium for free.
We're not Joe Rogan or fucking the top channels out there. There's a lot. Yeah, no way, never. Fuck that. But
if we are, Ron will personally suck your dick. All right, every last one of you. Ron will go out and suck every one of yours dick if you make us Joe Rogan numbers. All right,
he said it.
Yes, I said it. Ron will do it.
But all together, no. That's
gonna be a lot of dicks.
Yeah. Shut up. I don't want to do it. You can take over. Anyways, this was fun.
It was.
This was a fun episode to do. So, wow. So our pilot reviews. I was definitely this. Because when we were talking about doing this episode, I was like dreading. I was like, man, I don't know how this is going to go. But this actually was a very interesting, fun conversation. Yeah. And it's one of me and you's longest episodes we've done. I don't think we've ever done an episode.
I think it might have been one of the ones that I talked the most.
It's almost 3 hours long.
Yeah.
It's almost 3 hours long. I don't even know what to cut. I don't think there's anything really to cut in there. So all together, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode.
Time where I called you a cunt.
Yeah, I can cut that out.
Cunt.
Well, now you're cutting it out now. You fucking ass.
Premonition.
Anyways.
See? Talk about future.
Right. But hey, you guys need to check out our next episode that me and Stu are going to do because we do have one planned for the future.
Which we just made up tonight.
Yeah. We made up on the fly, I think, during our break or something like that. But I'm a big Cronenberg fan. Stu likes Cronenberg.
We are both Cronenberg fans.
Well, that's what I just said. I'm a big Cronenberg fan, and Stu's also a Cronenberg fan. And we decided to do something because I've talked about doing Videodrome for the longest time.
Yes.
So then I thought, why don't we do a Videodrome versus Existence, which probably a lot of people don't know about. A lot of people might know about Videodrome more than Existence. I don't know. Might be the other way around.
It might be a 50-50 split. Yeah, I do think it might be a 50-50 split.
Well, Videodrome was the 80s. Existence was more like early
90s.
Late 90s, 98, 99. Came out at the same time about Matrix.
That much difference?
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah.
All right.
So we're going to be doing sort of not a versus, but more of like a companion piece of those two movies.
Who did it better? That's what they're basically following the same themes.
Yeah.
And we're going to ask who did it better.
Yeah. Even though it's the same director.
Yeah.
But it's, The Flesh. What was it? I forgot the...
The Flesh.
No, he said something. I can't believe it. I said it earlier when we were talking about respect the flesh.
Yeah, let's go with that.
I don't remember what it was.
The flesh.
My mind is going blank right now because we're talking about so many things.
And I cannot wait till you edit this and you're like, I'm a dumbass.
Yeah, I'm going to. God damn
respect the flesh.
I don't remember what it was. The thing is, I already knew what it was. I said it earlier, but it is what it is. But yeah, we're going to do that. That's going to be our next episode, probably in the next month or two or something like that. Me and him, whenever we Stu get it set up. Because me and Stu like to do. Also, we have a future one we're also going to be doing in the summertime. The Toxic Avenger hot take.
Oh, the hot take, yes.
Yeah, we will be doing that. It will be a companion piece to our original Toxic Avenger, which I still think the original is going to be better because I'm a little worried about this one, but we'll talk about it. Me and him will see it fresh out of the theater.
We'll see. Okay, you cannot be colored.
It's not going to touch the original.
You can't be colored.
It's not going to touch the original.
All right.
It's not going to touch the original.
You have to go in with an open mind.
Are you saying it could be better than the original?
It could be.
I highly doubt that.
It could be.
All right, we'll see.
Look at the acting pedigree that's in this fucking film.
Kevin Bacon, Ethan Hawke. No, not Ethan Hawke. Elijah Wood. Sorry, Elijah Wood. Who else?
Peter Dinklage.
Peter Dinklage, thank you. I was thinking of Tyrion. I was trying to think of the actor's name. See, my mind is blank tonight for some reason.
That's fucked up. I go like this when I'm talking about.
You like midgets. That's why you love midgets. That's why.
I've had it up to here with them.
Hey, we were trying to do a midget commentary. You didn't want to be a part of it. For midget
wrestling.
Midget wrestling commentary.
That is a midget commentary. I just like the life of a midget. All right. Oh, they wake up in the morning and they brush their teeth at sinks that are knee high. No, that isn't what we were doing.
Anyways.
I would have David Attenborough's the fuck out of that.
Anyways, make sure to check out our episode and
ring the bell to get notified. Ring-a-ling, ding-a-ling.
Yes, ring-a-ling that
ding-a-ling. Ding-a-ling.
Yes, make sure to check out our episodes.
When we drop new shit.
Which we have a lot of stuff, man. We release a new episode almost every week, other than our classic episodes once a month.
We've relaxed a little bit. We also went years with every fucking week. We've relaxed a little bit. And anybody who wants to complain about that, suck it.
Yeah.
That's probably the best answer I have for you. Yeah. We went, how many years are we into now?
This is our 5th year. Well, it's our 4th year, but it's our 5th season.
Yeah. So 4 years of every single week dropping something new, sometimes 2 times a week.
Yeah, no longer.
We're old. We're old.
We're still releasing an episode every week, but we don't longer have the bonus episodes. Every once in a while we will. We do have a bonus episode coming up down the road that will be a normal release.
Yeah.
Tasting room, because we do the taste rooms. We used to do the taste rooms every week, but now it's kind of just like a every once in a while.
Oh, so much.
Top 10 sex scenes. Yeah, it's gonna be a provocative.
Brokeback Mountain, all for you, baby.
Well, you can go ahead and pick that because that's not mine. But there you go, Stu. Shut the fuck up. All right, we're getting back. We're going to go ahead and sign off, guys. This was great. I hope you enjoyed this episode. This very intellectual talk about Donnie Darko.
It was a fun time.
This was great. So looking forward to our next one. I think that's going to be fun. And we're going to have 2 drinks for that one too. So it's going to be fun. Anyways, guys, later.
Have a good one.
Thank you for listening to Barrel Age Flicks. If you like our show, please leave a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Guys, this helps out enormously. Give us a follow on Instagram at Barrel Age Flicks Podcast. If you would like to send us a special film request, please contact us via Instagram and we will give you a personal shout out on the show. We are also on Facebook and Twitter. Our podcast is available on Apple Podcasts. We are officially also on YouTube in video form. And also Buzzsprout, Google Podcasts, Audible, Pocket Cast, Spotify, Castbox, iHeartRadio, and Pandora. Make sure you check out Barrel Aged Chicks, our spin-off show where you get the girl's perspective. Subscribe to our Patreon for uncut video and early access to our podcast. Special thanks to Carl Casey at White Bat Audio on YouTube for his awesome music. This guy fucking rocks. Check him out. Want to give a shout out to Sammy, one of our guest hosts on the show who does our amazing album artwork. Thank you, Sammy. Hope you join us for our next episode. Later, guys.